Wishing you a happy Saturday, one and all out there in horse racing world. This is Racing Post Live with the Betfair Exchange. Myself, Dave Orton, back in the seat. Another Saturday. 9 beauties coming your way from Ayr and Newbury this afternoon. 4:15. We drag you on till then. Really fancy one in that. Get involved. Live and interactive, of course, the show is. You can do so on YouTube, our platform, the chat. I know it's warming up already. Great to have you with us. Get involved. Let us know what your big fancy for the day is. Anything on Facebook Live, welcome along to the party. And of course, if you want to get involved on Twitter, that's where all the clips go up. Hashtag RP Live. All right, who have we got with us then? It's the Ayr Gold Cup. No better person to call it home than the top course commentator, Tony Shriff Ennis. We're calling you from now on, aren't we?
We are. We'll talk Mishriff later, won't we, in depth, apparently.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. But no, it's an interesting day, isn't it? Lots of runners, which is good. The culmination of the Ayr Western meeting and some good action at Newbury as well. You
walked in, I mean, you've hosted one of these now, haven't you? You sort of strutted your stuff into the office today. You looked a bit more confident and you came in and you actually had the audacity to say, am I commentating? Well, I'm not doing it, I can tell you that much.
I've gone up the steps. So
yeah. Okay, presenter levels, all right. Assistant betting editor of the Racing Post. Is that what comes up when we get his name? Let's have a look. What's coming up? It's Graeme Rodway, I can tell you that much. Yes! Oh, marvellous. You've really got in someone's ear about that. It just used to say tipster if you're new to the show. He wasn't happy with that whatsoever. So it is, of course, the assistant betting editor. We're going to be seeing a bit of you this month, G.
Yeah, very nice to see you, senior Racing Post analyst.
Quite.
Great to be here. Yes.
Great stuff. Plenty of fancies today?
I have a lot of fancies. It's a great day's racing, isn't it? It's my sort of day. Lots of handicaps, really competitive racing. Really hopeful we might get a few winners, but been a bit dry on that front recently, so let's hope that doesn't continue.
We'll change that, don't worry about it. And you're doing the trading for Betfair today, right?
I am.
Now, some people just can't keep away, but you have missed him. Shall we go to Dublin? Where is he? Betfair's big hitter. Barry Orr joins us back on the show.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's good to see some friendly faces over there in the studio.
You've not got lost out and about then. I thought it might be like the Foreign Legion and your family might say missing in action, Barry, but back on familiar shores with us. Great to have you.
Yeah, it took me a couple of days to get home from the Cur. I'm not going to lie to you, all right, after Champions Weekend, but yeah, home safely and constant in the office now and ready for a great day's races, 9 races.
Yeah, 9 races, absolutely. Barry, of course, will be giving us some sportsbook action as well. Do you know what, Barry? I think we've still, despite the fact we're in the middle of September, we're still to work out who the charity is, aren't we, I think, for September as well. We've been asking people out there what they'd like to do, but everyone's just been, it's all just been about tipping and all that sort of stuff. So we'll have to sort of correct that today, will we?
Yeah, there's a new charity that's just launched. I think they're launching it today, actually, in Garran Park, and one of our Betfair ambassadors is involved with it, Kevin Blake. So it's a retraining of racehorses here in Ireland. I think we're going to support that then for the month of September.
Marvellous. Okay, all right. So if you're doing well, go and check it out. Retraining of racehorses in Ireland. Kevin Blake at Gower and then doing all that good stuff. Lovely, jubbly. All right, Barry, where are we trading? So for people that are new to the show, if you're welcoming them along this Saturday, Barry does a trade in every single race. We gamble responsibly. That's what it's all about. Please do that. But Barry will be giving you a shout in every race. What's the first trade as the market appears on the screen for the 155, the Doonside Cup?
Yeah, so I fancy Juan here, and it's not the one that you might think, but I do. I fancy Juan de Maltaban. The horse of the ex-Andrew Balding horse was sold for a lot of money to go to Italy, finished second to Tokyo Gold in the Italian Derby. Now, Tokyo Gold has really franked that form, it has to be said. He was second to Bolshoi Bally in the Belmont Derby just a couple of weeks ago. He actually runs again tonight against Bolshoi Bally in the Belmont Invitational, but he was only 4 lengths off from that day. That's good Group 1 form. He clearly didn't stay on his return to the UK. He's with David O'Mara now. Clearly didn't stay in Goodwood over a mile 6. He's beaten by a couple of decent horses there, Dancing King and Nergano. Now, they were pulled a long way clear from me. Didn't knock about when his chances was gone either. So I'm just going to get it up here on the exchange. At the moment, I think he's currently trading at around 16 the last time I looked. He's now trading at... Sorry, 1 second here, lads. My machine's just decided to freeze on me. But he's now traded at... He's currently trading at 20, so he's on the slide. He's 2-0-20. But what we're going to do is we're going to back him in the win and 3 places, please, G-Rod. Yep. We're going to have 25 quid on in the win, and we're going to have 25 quid on in the regular place market as well. I think the favourites very, very short for me at that price now. He was 7-4. He's into 6-4. And going south of that as well, Yukon Glen, I think he's cried enough now this season. They've dipped him plenty. He's 5.1. Maidani 6.8. Can't have him either. I was going to do a little lucky 15 as well, lads, if we've time for it. Is that okay?
You've stolen my line, Barry. So basically, this is off the sports book. Of course, we've got the betting exchange. Going to learn all about that. Barry's going to showcase the functionality, but there is a sports book as well, your more traditional side of Betfair, basically. And if you don't want to play in every single race, Barry, this is the way to go this afternoon, right?
Yeah, I like a lucky 15. I think the lads know it's an each way bet. I'm going to place it this time. It's 15 bets. It's doubles and trebles. It's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, 4 single bets, and an accumulator. G-Rod, if you toggle over to the sports book on the desktop there, and if you go, are you on the sports book? Yeah,
I'm there. Yeah,
that's the sports book. Yeah. We'll kick off with Ayr in the 155. I'm going to put in the horse we've just backed, Wanda Maltaban. And we're going to stick with Ayr in the 305. We're going to go Hala at Manny.
Yes, Hala.
That's going to be Hala. Yeah, that's our second in the 305.
That's over a 10.
That's going to be our second selection, in the 305.
All right, hold on.
I thought she was looked a really promising filly. I'm sure we'll get to her, but Hala, yeah. And then we're going to go back to Newbury. And there's 2 in Newbury I fancy in the 325 in Gizzati.
325.
The 3-year-olds dominating the betting in that handicap.
Newbury, yeah.
Yeah, Newbury 325 in Gizzati.
Oh, yeah, in Gizzati.
And then in the 4 o'clock at Newbury, Malayu Kingdom.
Oh, we've got some good names here, haven't we, Barry? Malayu Kingdom.
There's some furlers in there, all right.
Oh, what have I done
I'm glad
now?
that he's doing the trading. I've got to say, this is absolutely fantastic. I think he had a couple of beers last night. We're not too foggy, I hope.
Hey, he's looking well. He got his haircut again, did he? He's so mad to get his haircut.
Yeah, I keep the Turkish lads in a job down in my local. Right, the last one was called. Where was that? It was 4 o'clock.
It's the outside.
Malayu Kingdom. 22 to 1.
Kingdom.
22 to 1.
Yeah, stick that in. Yeah, and like I say, it's an each way. So it's a lucky 15. It's 15 bets, 6 doubles, 4 trebles, 4 single bets, and a 4-fold accumulator. And we're going to do it each way. We're going to do it for £1. So it's going to cost us 30 quid.
A couple of people already I can see on the chat bar going to follow you in with that, Barry. There you go. So listen, if you're not sure about it this afternoon, think, where am I looking? Barry's giving you a knock it out the park, some big prizes.
£18,223.72 if that comes in, Barry.
Utter scenes.
That'll do nicely.
Utter scenes.
That'll get the charity off to a flyer, wouldn't it?
Massive scenes in here as well if Hala Athmani wins as well, because I've got a feeling we sparked a bit with Gamble with this, didn't we? We had Adam Ryan obviously on the show last week, Barry, when you were absent. Irish Champions Week. It was great to have Adam in, pointing us the way of the Ryan runners, and this is the jewel in their crown, this one. She's a great big filly. She's been absolutely smashed, Barry, hasn't she, now, for the Further Clyde 305?
Yeah, she was 13 to 2 when we first went up with the race. I thought it was a big price because she didn't go on back on her debut. She won so convincingly. She's really well related, as you know, to a Betfair sprint winner. And, these horses can take a big step forward, but they obviously think a lot about her. And she looked very, very impressive. She didn't beat much now on her debut, but she did it really, really sweetly. And, yeah, she's a filly that's got a lot of promise, I would imagine.
Yeah, she's a monster. She's not in the Shively Park because I don't think she'll handle the dip, basically, that undulating trap, but they believe she's of that calibre. The panel will be giving you all their views on all the horses then in those. And I'll tell you what, we will go back to the 155 quickly, but I can see that the social interaction is warming up on this Saturday afternoon. Oh, my goodness me. Chris Hall, what are you doing to us, man? You've opened the show. Well, will the Big Bear do a dance if Hala goes in?
Hala.
I'll tell you what, it's getting crazier. Are you happy you're back on Hala Day?
I am, but I don't think it's going to win. Am I the only one who thinks this horse is not going to win
today? Boo, Enzo. Yeah.
I've got to
mute his mic.
That can happen.
Everybody tells this horse I can't have it.
So you've got to do a victory dance if it comes in. I'll tell you what, we'll be raising the roof, all of us. So me, Barry and G, we all over that one. I napped it yesterday. Okay, what else have we got coming in? Let's have a little look. Paul Bakewell, great to have you back on. Paul, one of our regulars, says, what horse and trainer deserves it more than Yukon Glen and Jim Goldie? Outstanding horse and trainer for the older ones. And G, let me take it away. This is your pick. You're in contrast to Barry. You think he's tough as nails.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I really like Yukon Glen, and I don't think that this favourite is anything special at all. What's he called? Juan Alcano.
I like what Barry did as well. Which Juan are you going for? Very good. You could tell he'd been waiting to do that one.
I must admit, I didn't really look too closely at Barry's selection. And then,
he is interesting,
yeah.
Juan Alcano. We'll get to that. But I'll give you a word on Juan de Mantelman. They did. They paid a bundle for him. And if you watch back, you can do that in your members section now, wherever you get your replays from. Do look at that. Because at Goodwood last time, he's one of the last off the bridle. Coming back, this is sharp enough. But David O'Mara's previous runner in this race last year, maybe it's the calibre of horse he aims at it. Lord Glitters, second to a Dave, of course. Noah Dave this year. You can Glenmouth fourth. You're not worried about that. You think Big Jim, who's had some... was it the Bronze Cup? He had the 1-2 in yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't entirely a surprise, was it?
I suppose not, no.
When it comes to Ayr, you just automatically think Jim Goldie, but then you do think which one, because he usually has about 50 runners, doesn't he? But Yukon Glen is his absolute stable star, isn't he? He's a real star. When he won that race at Sandown, the Brigadier Gerard,
Marvellous.
what a performance that was.
Comes from last to first.
Yeah, under a big weight. He was giving them all weight that
You think
night.
he'll do this, Fav? He's got to give him a bit of weight, but
yeah, he's the sort of horse that I like to back. You know that he's going to run to a certain level. He's a better horse than Juan Elcano. Juan Elcano's got to go and improve to beat him. He might well do it because, of course, he is open to more improvement, but he needs to improve the Fav.
If anyone wants a hint on the Ayr ground, Dave Carr, Racing Writer of the Year here at the Racing Post. He's been up there for us all week and he's sent me a line that says Kevin Stott and David Allen, who rode in the first, said it's just on the easy side. It was good to firm yesterday. They had a bit of rain overnight, so it's good ground. Level playing field for all out there. Will it be high? Will it be low? In the sprints, we've got the Silver Cup coming up for you as well, of course, and then the big one at 3:40, but it's not our last 4:15. What a treat we're giving you on this Saturday. OK, we've heard which Juan Barry is going for. Not going to get enough of that. And you can, says Graeme Rodway. We are on the other Juan.
Yeah, I think Juan Elcano's just too good, isn't he?
Just wins, doesn't he?
Isn't he like a Group 2?
How can he possibly be too good?
He's a Royal Ascot winner. He ran in the Jumpmont International. He's that sort of calibre of a horse.
Wasn't he, in the other race? He finished front of Mohafeth that day when he split Bangkok and Mohafeth at York.
Is that how you pronounce that name? I thought it was Mahafeth. You're the commentator. Lucky you've not called him, isn't it? Ian Bartlett would be straight on the phone to you with all the commentators saying, Enzo. Are you going to do some impressions for us today? I'm hoping you might do.
Possibly.
I was thinking about doing an Adam Ryan impression. He's very gravelly, Adam Ryan, isn't he? He said to me about this chap, just worried about the lack of pace. That's what he said, basically, if you could hear that. I don't know. No, not for Hala, for Juan
Elcano.
This is a guy that ran in the Guineas, and they just overfaced him a little bit at 3, and he just wasn't. He's just taken time. They reinvented him at Royal Ascot. You remember he came from last to first, and then
the fancied horse, didn't he, of Joseph O'Brien?
They thought he was unlucky against Mahafeth, or however you pronounce him, Mahafeth, at York in the York Stakes, and then last time he was just, it was
too much, wasn't it, up against the mighty Shriff?
He's drawn low. There is pace in the race. Palavicino in there.
A lot of excuses there for a short price favourite.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely. You don't like excuses.
He's an excuses horse, isn't he? Yeah. I don't like excuses. I think Adam Ryan got that idea last week.
And Barry, did you say that Juan, the right Juan Elcano, is on the slide somewhat?
No, he's 2.46, Dave. He's really strong. He was 2.76. He was 7-4, and he's into below 6-4 now. So he's strong at the head of the market. But Yukon Glen, a little bit of a negative for that, 4.9, heading towards 4-1. 6-8 Maidan, he is quite weak, and it's 10-1 bar them. So, yeah, it's very strong at the head of the market, if anything, Juan Elcano.
Okay, all right. So strengthening all the time. Big day for the Ryans then, because they've got a couple of live players in the big sprint as well, haven't they? All right, we've got 10 minutes to this race. You'd have seen last night if you watch our social media channels, and indeed you were watching the RP website last night. Our Newmarket correspondent David Milnes managed to catch a word with John and Thady Gosden. The Arc de Triomphe's loss is Champions Day's gain. It would be remiss of us with Tony Shriff Ennis to not... I mean, all right, let's get this out of the way first and foremost before you start ganging up on me, because there are two fanboys with Mishra.
Join me, follow me.
You said at the start of the season, this is going to be the best horse in the world.
I said last year he would be the best 3-year-old middle distance colt in training after he won in French, and I was laughed at, I think.
Never undersell yourself, Enns.
And I think he proved he was. I know he got beaten at Champions Day last year, but I think his performances in the French
It was a massive flop, wasn't it, last year?
The ground was really bad, though. Ascot Champions Day, it's not even soft, is it? It's like a bog.
Right.
Last year, it was
We
horrible.
know he's going there, right? He's around about 7-4, 2-1. We'll get to Barry in a minute. I
don't think it's his race. I think it's the wrong race for him.
You think he should go to the
I think he should go
States?
straight to the States.
I don't think he can win a States.
You don't think he can win at Del Mar?
No, he needs a long straight to get going, this horse. And I think those tight...
He knows Mishriff better than you.
I don't think he does. I think that's a myth.
I think it's nearly
Are
up
we
there,
having a
isn't
shriff off here?
I don't think he
I
needs a
didn't
long
think we'd
straight.
have a Shriff off.
I think Del Mar would be fine for him. I think he'd sit handy at Del Mar.
Well, this is our US
Sit
expert.
third or fourth, one out, one back. David Egan pressed the buttons, I think he'd take up a
But
furlong.
G is with you. You believe this is the best horse on planet Earth, right?
Yeah, I thought that when he won at Maidan, and then I started to wobble a little bit because, of course, he got beaten in the Eclipse. But that was a weird race.
When did you get with the Shrift? Was it when your brother Kevin was over doing the camera work?
Oh, when we had the
Saudi
in the Saudi. Yeah, he won that, didn't he? Yeah, we had a nice.
Anyone that doesn't know, Graham's brother's
didn't we?
is a very important cog in the wheels at Sky Racing. So he went over and got the Saudi gig, and he said to you, "I've seen this thing work.
Yeah,
we can't bet over it, but everyone knows this is going to win on dirt."
And it was a good price, wasn't it? Yeah, but no, that was obviously a good performance. But the performance obviously is the York one. Now, everyone just seems to be jumping on the bandwagon of trying to pick holes in this. But to me, there's absolutely no way you can pick holes.
I didn't think he had to improve that much, G. I've got to be honest.
I thought his King George run was almost as good as he's done as well, even though he lost. I thought that run.
So he's come up against 3-year-olds and he can't beat them. He can't beat them.
Oh, £11 he's trying to give Adayar.
He can't beat a 3-year-old.
Nearly a stone. So off level weights, would he not have won the King George?
So the Longines World Thoroughbred rankings have 3 horses on 127. Adayar beat him, of course, and
give me £11.
and St Mark's Basilica, who we saw last week,
getting £10
and
beat him,
and Mishriff at the top. So the question I'm going to ask our viewers today, and this, let's get it out there: who is the best horse on?
Are we talking the best horse off level weights? Because the best horse on planet Earth.
There is a weight for age scale for a reason.
Weights, isn't it?
I knew this was going to come. Look, we need
Mishriff is the best. Take it away. If they all right, all 3 of them, 9 stone 7.
Yeah.
Marlin 2.
What would have Shrift done to St Mark's Basilica and Adayar as a 3-year-old? Would he, if he came up again, he wouldn't have beaten them, would he?
I think he's a better horse as a 4-year-old.
He won a French Derby, right?
Yeah.
And then he had to go abroad.
When the French were saying that Victor
beat some
Ladorum was the
inferior
best.
turf horses.
And then he just beat some inferior dirt horses like Nix Go and Charlatan, 2 of the highest rated
Nix
dirt
Go
horses.
is another one that's up there as well.
Nix Go is favourite for the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Palace Pierre's up there. Baid, who's actually favourite to beat Palace Pierre, would you believe it? I'm assuming that Palace Pierre goes for that. All right, let's get some chat out there.
How many horses win on different surfaces, dirt and turf? Can you name me the last horses won championship races?
Extremely adaptable horse. I love him. I thought that
Mile 2, mile and a half.
Monte was a lovely price, and I love that David Egan sends the horse. I'm not a fan of Mishriff. I think you're bitter because he lost that day at Champions Day when you fancied him.
you can't get that out of your mind that when you backed him that day, it's just like,
I do agree.
That's the thing, isn't it?
You need to move on from that last year.
I do agree that I'm not entirely convinced that Ascot is his track. You know, I do think that was very disappointing last year.
But the King George ran well though, didn't he, Ascot?
Yeah, but that was a mile and a half. A mile and a quarter. They come into that straight, nice short straight. That suits the horses. Got a good turn.
Have they made the right decision not to go in the slog on mile 4? You thought he could have gone to the Arc.
I would have run in the Arc.
You would have gone in the ground, whatever.
The Arc's cutting up a bit now, isn't it? It's not going to be the great race we thought it was going to be.
That's another hook for us as well socially today. We have, unbelievably, despite 9, got some time in between the race. Let's bring Barry in. Sports, but then Champions Day. Someone said to me that the Champions Stakes around the 7-4 mark for Mishriff was one of the prices of the century, Barry. St Mark's Basilica, lots of talk about him being retired, and will a Dave turn up, even if it's good ground or on a bog, they think Shrift can beat him as well. What do you take of this?
Yeah, I think he's going to be very hard beat, and mainly because obviously he's a very, very good horse. I don't think that's in doubt. We saw that when he beat Lanker 6 lengths last day, but it's the doubt about the participation of horses around him. It looks like Real World could be the only horse at this stage that is kind of earmarked for the race, and he's an 8-1 chance. But you've got St Mark's Basilica at 7-2. I'd say he's odds against to go to Champions Day. I don't think he can enhance his reputation anymore now by going to the UK. I'd say if he's not retired, they might travel him. Adaye, again, 8-1 chance. He's not sure to go there. The French horse Scaletti, interesting to see what they do with him. And then you've Snowfall in the betting there, who's arc bound. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It'll go off very short indeed. It depends what runs in the race, obviously. But it looks like opposition a bit thin on the ground, just glancing through the anti-post market at the moment.
That's how I took it, Barry. Absolutely. That 2-1, good look. Monstrous come the 16th of October, Champions Day. We'll be covering that here on RP Live. Let's get some social up. Okay, and who have we got? D6 Kylie comes on and says, Mishriff the best horse. He skipped the Arc because they know Dermot Weld is winning it.
She's favourite, hasn't she, Tana?
Tanawa. Barry, you were there on course. Let's have a quick wrap of this before we move back to our first race of day to 155. A lot of people came out of that thrilling finish, let's put it that way, thinking that the best horse might have been second.
I think Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien gave everyone a lesson in tactics in the Irish Champion Stakes last weekend. No disrespect to Colin Keane, he's a great jockey and he's been touted for the Ballydoyle job, blah-de-blah. But if he had a challenge in the inside... Obviously, Ryan Moore wanted to stay away from Poetic Flair, didn't want to get in a fight with him, so wanted to cut challenge wide, Paranara went on his outside. Paranara, if Colin Keane had a challenge on the inside of the winner, St. Mark's Basilica, I think it may have been a different result. But for my money, just great plan and really well executed by a top jockey.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying what a messy race it was. I thought it was an absolutely thrilling race, absolutely brilliant. All right, there you go. We've had some anti-post chat. We've had some chat from last weekend as well. Let us know. Is the race going to come up? Is the Shrift one of the prices of the century? Ground. Tell you what, we've had an Indian summer over here in Britain as well, haven't we? The last time that happened, 2016, it was a good ground Champions Day. It's only 3 weeks away. All right, let's move on then. Back to the first Spotlight Verdict. You get premium content here on this show. If you're not a member of the Racing Post, Juan Elcano is expected by the team of Spotlight writers. They're the best in the business to take this out. I think that'll be the case. I think he's got some pace to aim at. Beautiful draw. Kevin Stott, just rev him up at the furlong and watch him go. This is a drop in class. Tony Ennis thinks that as well. Not Graeme Rodway. You think that you can, Will. You can, Glenn. And Barry Orr going for a big price. Horse we've not seen the best of yet. He cost a bomb. Juan de Montalban. OK, all right. Barry, how are they trading now? Again, slightly on the slide then.
Yeah, just in the last couple of minutes, 8 to 264 now. So just sliding out a little bit out to around the 30-day mark. 4.6 Yukon Glen, some money for that. 5.9 made Danny, small for that. Platinum Card 9.4 now from 11, so money for that. That's 14 bar. But obviously your favourite. Yeah, just sliding out a little bit uneasy in the market. I don't know whether he's getting a bit fractious at the start of that, but just out to 7.
Yeah, I just had a little look at him, Barry, down there. He looks all right, actually. He looks OK. Are there any other big players here? Maydani. So
Maydani, always think Goodwood, don't you? I think that's his time of year. That sort of Goodwood.
Well, that's where he won. So
yeah, I think that's his. I think he peaks.
That was a deserved big handicap success for Maydani, but we've seen it with Mutakyle, who took out the Bunbury Cup. Unbelievable weight carrying performance. They got to Group 2 level, different pace scenario. G just doesn't work, does it?
Yeah, he got beat at Haydock, didn't he, last time? I was quite strong on him that day, and he ran
flat.
Very disappointingly in the way that some Mark Johnson horses can do, and then they do bounce back, don't they? So it wouldn't be the worst angle to take back in Mark Johnson horses who have run pretty poorly on their previous start next time. But
he's definitely got a fan club, hasn't he, Maydani? Because he runs well in these big handicaps.
I think the problem with Maydani is that he definitely needs to improve. He's not as good a horse as Yukon Glen or Juan Elcano, and I don't really see where that improvement is coming from. He's quite exposed, isn't he?
Yes, all right, OK, fair enough. So Platinum Card, a horse that ran second in the handicap, the big handicap on the opening day of the meeting, shows you what sort of race this is for the grade then, around about 8 to 1, under Billy Garrity. He's hard to see that, isn't it? Pallavicino, he'll probably take them on for the lead. You expect the Flying Ginger. Holly Doyle up there today,
Yeah, she's riding the Flying Ginger, as you say. She's got a chance at the Ayr Gold Cup, hasn't she, on Pop Master later on.
One of 2 for Ed Walker, yeah.
She's up there to ride that one. I didn't think this horse would be quite good enough, the Flying Ginger. Platinum Card as well, I've got doubts about. Pallavicino, as you say, I saw him run at Chester earlier in the season. Just don't think he's quite good enough, is he, to beat...
This is a real mixed bag, actually. I mean, you've got a couple of...
You've got 3 horses that must be 1,000 to 1, mustn't they? The other 3. They're 1,000. There must be yards.
It's unbelievable. It's very rarely you see it, Enzo, in a race.
You can't lay them, can you? They're unlayable, those 3.
Nothing to lay, and 1,000 is the only offer. You can back them at 1,000. It's very, very unusual to see it.
Crazy.
That is Yassir, Bobby Shufto, and Judgment Call, who are getting some experience here.
We had a 101 winner yesterday at Newton Abbot, didn't we? So you never know what's going to happen.
And we had a
Betfair SP at 200.
Was it really?
And we had a 12 to 1 on shot sunk at Newton Abbot, didn't we, as well?
And it didn't. And it got round.
Oh yeah, what's
scenes there?
Eglantine
Dessau, yeah.
That's the one she would lame for, fortunately.
All over the place, jumping right.
She wanted to go out to Bath most of the time, didn't she? Some of these prices. So whatever you fancy, good luck this afternoon in the 155. I'm delighted to hand you over. Is this an early handover? Are you one of these commentators that can't stand this?
I don't mind early handovers. It's the later ones that are tougher. When someone throws you with the last one's
unlike some of the other commentators, you don't mind rabbiting, do you?
No, I don't mind a bit of chat. 3 to go in is perfect for me. I like that. Yeah. I don't like when someone throws to you and the last one's going in and you're trying to say hello and you haven't got time.
Can we congratulate Enzo on his great commentaries on the Racing League?
Oh, thank you, Barry.
I'll tell you what, there's something going on here.
I didn't put him up to that either.
Fair play to you, Enzo. You brought it to life. It wasn't an easy gig for you having to mention team names and everything, but you never missed a beat throughout it. I thought one of the highlights of the Racing League.
You can tell the personalities on this show. You've got a compliment for Barry. I was about to remind you there are no teams to call here.
I'm looking for Team Swish. Who have Team Swish got in this, Barry? No, they haven't got one.
Team Goat as well. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, maybe we'll get a word on exactly how that went from Enzo then a little bit later on. But this is then the...
Glad you enjoyed it, Barry.
All right. All right, OK, let's go over to Enzo then. Call them home, Enzo.
It's the Doonside Cup. Here we go. 10 furlongs, this listed race, traditional build-up race to the Ayr Gold Cup. Some good horses have won this down the years. Bobby Shafter, one of the absolute outsiders, doesn't want to go in at the moment. For Amy War, has recently turned professional, hasn't she? Had a few winners as well. No, it's backing out. Bobby Shafter looks the third, or maybe second string of Jim Goldie's. Who knows? There's not much between Yaza and Bobby Shafter at the moment. But I think it's safe to say You Can Glen is the first string out of the three for Jim Goldie in this race. Is this horse going to go in?
This reminds you of the jumps, doesn't it? When you've got, like, 3 no-hopers against, I don't know, Shishkin or something like this, isn't it? And they're like, why are they doing him? We might fall over in the National or something like this. Should they really be here, these horses? I don't know.
It's interesting. I guess without them, we'd only have 2 places, wouldn't we, for each way bet? So.
Oh, yeah, all right, fair enough, OK.
Not that long till the jump
Local
starts.
trainers supporting their race, their big card, isn't it?
I
The
guess
local
that's what
trainers.
are they all Scottish trained?
Field sizes are decent, yeah.
Scottish owner, they want to see the horses, don't they?
2 from Goldie's yard, of course, yeah.
Yaza and Bobby Shafter. So Bobby Shafter is slowly getting his way in. The others are standing pretty well over there at the 10 furlong start. Midway point at the back straight here at Ayr for the Doonside Cup. Come on, Bobby, in you go. Have they got him in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
There we
they
go.
have.
That was an early handover, wasn't it? Delighted about that.
We're ready. Here we go. And they're off. They've jumped away. A little bit slow was Judgment Call and also Bobby Shafto. One of the first to show up is the Flying Ginger, Holly Doyle on the inside. Maydani racing prominently as he normally does in second. Just off them then Pallavicino is racing in company with Juan de Montalban who's on the inside. Further back to find You Can Glen ahead of Juan Alcano. The 2 of the big guns are midfield at this stage. They are ahead of Judgment Call, Yasa, and then comes Platinum Card. The back marker is Bobby Shafto, one of the Jim Goldie trio. They make the run down the far side. They're past the mile start and they're being led by the Flying Ginger, a length clear to Maydani in second place. Racing in third is Wonder Montalban. Jason Watson on the inside of Pallavicino and Richard Kingscote, who's wider out. 2 lengths back. The big guns are side by side, aren't they? Juan Alcano and You Can Glen.
Yeah.
They're watching each other.
This is an interesting observation, G, because lots of people watch You Can Glen, expect to come from last to first, but he'd be behind the total rags this time. So he's actually in midfield.
Yeah, I'd be hoping they come up the middle here. They have been coming up the middle most of the week because he's right on the inside there. You Can Glen, and every chance he could get boxed
Scottish
in.
equivalent of York then. Barry, we're on the far side. What does the market really like?
Not massive movement. 2-6-1 and Kano 4-3. You Can Glen 5-9. Maydani. Pavlichenko out to 16. The Flying Ginger into 14 off the back of Holly Doyle getting a soft lead.
Yeah, she's just put down that anchor. They tend to do that at Ayr, then catapulting. OK, back to ends with around about 3 furlongs to run.
The Flying Ginger in front, then turning for home. Maydani in second place, Juan de Montalban third, Pallavicino fourth. You Can Glen on the inside in fifth. Juan Alcano, who's asked to improve, I think, a bit, isn't he? Kevin Stott maybe just wants to get him a bit closer to the pace. He's been followed by Platinum Card. Further back are the Rags. Are they in line for home? 2.5 to go.
Yeah, Maydani's gone low here,
isn't he? Maydani looking good.
That pace slacken was not good for the big guns, I don't think. Platinum Card, he's been run really disappointingly. Juan
Alcano's going nowhere, is he? Fast.
Flat as a pancake. This is Maydani, surely.
Yeah, Maydani in front. Juan Alcano is beginning to run on now. It could be too late, though. Maydani's gone. You Can Glen's coming through now to try and get into second place. Platinum Card running on down the outside, but Maydani, Joe Fanning, surely not going to get caught from here. You Can Glen into second place. It will be a winner for Mark Johnson and Joe Fanning. Maydani wins. You Can Glen are running on second, and Juan Alcano third.
OK, all right then. Off and running. Who kept the faith with Maydani? Absolutely awful at Haydock last time. Run of the race there. It was that pace slacken, wasn't it? But the Fav didn't want to know to my eyes. You Can Glen gives it a good bit of form. When did they know, Barry Orr?
He went 4-5, 2 out, Dave, because the second or the favourite one in Cala wasn't really travelling one out, and You Can Glen was just beginning to get motoring. So from an in-running point of view, no massive news there at all, other than Maydani went short 2 out.
Straightforward stuff then. Mark Johnson takes the first race of the day. Joe Fanning here on RP Live. G.
Yeah, I think that if you were on You Can Glen, you probably wanted a bit of a stronger pace there because we've just eased it up and that has really suited the winner who obviously had the pace to go with them when they quickened. And he just got away from You Can Glen and You Can Glen's really closing him down to come miles clear of the rest. That Juan Elcano is an excuses horse. So
Well
what's the
done.
excuse?
You must feel very happy about
What's
that.
the excuse this time?
Well,
There's got to be one coming up.
Yeah, I think there probably is, isn't there? He didn't look happy at any stage to me. He looks like
did
has he got third? He struggled to get third, hasn't he?
just.
He didn't look like he was happy with the ground. I don't know. There's a little bit of ease. And it looked, again, the ground to my eyes, we'll get the time for you straight away as soon as it comes up. It looks fine to me. So no excuses there.
He's not the same horse. I mean, the Royal Ascot win was good, wasn't it? Obviously, strong pace in that race suited him better. He's not had that since, really, is he?
I don't like these hostage to fortune horses either. I thought he would outclass them. And I thought, actually, when Kevin pulled him out...
Could Kevin have ridden him a bit close to the pace, perhaps?
Possibly. It was that Holly Doyle pace slacken around the bend. That did them, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a real tactical affair in that sense. And that's a typical sort of Johnson winner, isn't it? It was able to be on the pace, sit there and then go, and you're just not going to get it back.
The fact that he's just been done for fourth, if you're looking at the form, we always say if you want to know where your money went, this is the best analysis you'll get in the business here on RP Live. He's rated 89, the Flying Ginger. He's not run to 100, is he? Surely not.
No, definitely not, you would say, wouldn't you?
Yeah, tactical affair then, the first race at Ayr. It won't be like that going on. We've got a couple of absolute blinding sprints coming your way. What's next to there? Of course, we've got the Silver Cup coming up. Come on then, let's hear it. What wins these sprints? Silver Cup. Are you with Royal Scimitar that didn't get into the big one for Clive Cox? He's around about second favourite behind the 3-year-old Black Rod at the moment. Will the Ryans bounce back in that? What wins the big one? My goodness, are you with Great Ambassador? Is he another star man? Let us know. There's the Betfair SB then on the screen. A rather healthy looking, what is it, just over 5-1 in the end, wasn't it, Maidan? He said there was some good money out there for him. He's back on track, proved himself in group company. But it was a rather weak race. All right, let's move on, because we've got to go down to Newbury. Berkshire's lovely straight 5 furlongs coming up. Wide open race, Barrier. Cardem, I think, was favourite, but he's being pressured for it.
Yeah, I suppose the concern with Cadam is on the ground. Obviously, he's shown his best form on good to firm ground, like last day in Donny, and he's had some bad runs on softer ground. But I don't know how much rain has got into it in Newbury. I think officially is it good to soft, or is it good soft in places? A little bit weak, 5.2 now. He was around the 7-2 mark. 5-5 Hurricane Ivor, 5-3 King's Lynn, 6th is Marvellous, and it's 10 bar. Significantly in there at 14.5. What I want to do here, G-Rod, is though I want to back to them and I want to lay it back in running and hopefully green up. So I'm happy to be a price taker here for 25 quid at 5.2 on Cadam, and then we'll look to take 50 quid out of it at around. I think it could trade short in running because the blinkers have obviously really lit him up. He obviously tried 5 furlongs for the first time last day in Doncaster. He only beat a horse rated 94 that day, and he was off level weights with him. So, you know, he did what he was expected to do, really, in fairness, and he's up in class here. But he is a bit of a class horse himself. Obviously, Batash was their great white. He was their great horse in this division, and with the retirement of Batash, they've drafted him into the 5 furlong sprint division. But I think he could trade shorter in running. So, going to look to lay him at about even money and take 50 quid out of in running. He's been beaten a couple of times short in running, 2.12, 152, 298 and 151 as well. So I think he'll be hot on the pace here, and he could trade a lot shorter without actually getting home because of the ground. So that's my angle into this race here. Don't forget to select the keep bet tab, because that bet will go down when the race goes in play if we didn't select that.
There you go then. There's the trade for the first of a couple of live races we've got for you at Newbury this afternoon. Cardem. He is a very interesting horse for, expert sprint trainer Charlie Hills. They thought he was up there with Batash and Muhara and all those greats that they've had in the Shadwell colours. He's just been too keen, but they dropped him back to 5, as Barry said last time. Let's face it, in a race he had to win. And he duly obliged, so there could well be more to come. He has, of course, won at Newbury as well. Barry, just sticking with you, you said that there are a couple of horses that trade low in running. Oh, we've got a couple here that must be on your list as well, with the old target on King's Lynn's back.
King's Lynn, yeah, obviously he's traded 2.84. He traded 3.9 at Ascot and 5.7 in the race before that in Ascot. Obviously, the Wokingham was he traded short in both the races in Ascot. Probably a little bit unlucky, but yeah, he's another one of those horses that seems to be, you used the expression earlier, a hostage to fortune. I know Ryan Moore was kind of kicking himself after the Wokingham in Royal Ascot, but yeah, he just always seems to find a little bit of trouble, doesn't he?
You got the feeling that was his big day. Of course, he did beat Moss Gill when they met at Haydock a little bit earlier
Achilles,
on.
yeah. I laid him that day on the show.
That's it. And that was the day where he put his head down, wasn't it? I tell you what, this is some game, isn't it, Barry? Absolutely. A pair of blinkers go on to Moskill as well. I thought at the prices he was the value for Ed Bethel. Young trainer having a great first season. Spoke to Ed yesterday. Keen, worked like a demon in the blinkers. You asked him if he works horses in blinkers, didn't you, yesterday when we spoke to him?
I was particularly interested in it because we had a discussion on last week's show, didn't we? And I suggested that James Millman that Aidan O'Brien doesn't work his horses in headgear.
He laughed at that, didn't
And he laughed at me. And then Adam Ryan said, we don't work our horses in headgear.
So there was a 50-50
There was a 50-50
split. Are you surprised about
Bethel
that?
obviously does.
Yeah.
I thought you would do, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so as well.
I thought you would do, otherwise you wouldn't know how they would react to them on the racecourse.
They don't at Kevin Ryan's, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Multiple Group 1 winning yard.
But this one has.
Yes, it has. And I like Moskill. I
And
think
it worked
he's much
well,
bigger
according-
price. I just think if you've got Kings Lynn near the front, Moskill's got to be there or thereabouts. And he has danced some big dances, this chap, placed in Nunthorpe's and all that sort of stuff. So big price for me. I loved his Marvellous, as anyone who watches this show knows. Put him up the last twice when he's won. Shergar Cup, of course, and then he went to the Beverley Bullet, didn't he? And absolutely took that apart. He will need lots and lots of pace to come to the fore here, the 7-year-old. And I just wonder whether the
this
hat-trick might
is
get
the horse that
stunted.
you said must have 5.5 furlongs.
He's a 5.5 furlong horse,
right.
right? So it's a stiff,
And
like Hurricane Ivor, I think, who of course won the Portland.
And I said to you, how do you know that?
I know the owner,
And you were right.
and the owner's
Because the five, it's got over like half,
he was
5.5.
second
isn't
in a
it?
Wokingham, and he just got outstayed by Cape Byron. You know, that was the day where they were. That's why they always aim him at
So
Ascot.
this track isn't stiff enough for him.
I
Is
don't
that
think
what
so.
We're saying here.
He
really?
has run. Is he running this race? I've got a feeling he might have done. I'll check that out. Give us your tip then, G. I've said Moskill.
Yeah, I think Kings Lynn will win this.
You're going on to Kings Lynn.
Yes. Yeah, I think he's just more talented than these. Now, of course, I'm not sure about this thing. We've had discussion before, haven't we? About, I like these sort of horses, don't I? You know, your Escobars and the horses that have got that talent.
Gulliver's.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for Escobar and Gulliver in the same colours, and people seem to think they're rogues, but they're just monstrous.
I've always believed that these horses have got their level, and I think Kingsley might have won the Group 1 race at Royal Ascot if he'd got a run. And this is
what
Group
loads
3.
of people said that to me. I can't have it. I keep watching it back. I just don't see it. It's amazing how you watch a replay differently, isn't it?
He's back to 5 furlongs here, isn't he,
Yeah.
as well, Kingsley? And obviously he was running over 6 at Royal Ascot, and he disappointed last time at this track. I think that was over 6.
He looked like he'd felt a slightly hard race the month before, didn't he? Because they ran twice at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, he
didn't
ran
they,
in the
obviously?
King's Stand Stakes.
It was bad ground by the time it came to the Saturday behind Rohan. He
What
just
a
looked
good
like
race that Wokingham was, though, wasn't it? I mean, Rohan Fresh was second.
Yeah.
It looked like it was like
See
a
Rohan
group
last week in the Curragh.
Oh
Fell
man,
out
yeah.
of the stalls in the flying and was on top of them at the finish. Yeah, unbelievable run. Anyone who hasn't seen it, I'd urge you to go back and watch it in your members section on the Racing Post.
Yeah, of course, because we had poor old Slippers nearly took it out, didn't she? Of course, the Flying Five romantic proposal. Eddie Lyon also just loves the Curragh. The pace just collapsed a little bit too soon. Glass Slippers goes for the Abbey, we think, all being well. And I think she's got faster this year, which is quite interesting. That will suit her at Del Mar, wasn't it? Which is the big target. It's 5
Yes,
furlongs.
back for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint again.
Yeah, OK, we digress slightly. Back to the sprint here. It's all on you now, Enns.
I was trying to look at something at price here, but I've struggled to come up with anything really. I was looking even at Mackinac, the rank outsider.
I'm amazed that you've gone for Mackinac.
I haven't gone with him, even though the main man's on him.
Oh, we've all seen who's riding Mackinac all of a sudden.
I was
David
looking
Probert.
at Tarlis Bay as well. I thought, could he have a chance?
Are you
But
kicking yourself that you didn't really persuade Probert to sort of get on agent duties with him as well? So
No, I
you
just
share it
think
with us?
because
'Cause
that
this
week
has
he
been
had,
the year,
yeah,
isn't
that
it?
Foss Lass when he had the 8 winners in 2 days was extraordinary. That
You are
5-timer, I was just
you wouldn't be silenced that
so
weekend.
happy that day though. Brilliant.
Your friend, yeah, of course. So you think he could actually do this?
I don't know. I think Mackinac could sneak into the third. You know, I think he could easily get into a place here. What sort of price can I back it for? I might look at the exchange place market. Maybe 3. We've got 3 place market obviously here, haven't we? We've got for Mackinac might be interesting. But
Yeah, he's 6.4, Enzo.
6.4 for the first 3.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that'll be my play then. I'll play that. Mackinac to be in the first 3, 6.4. I think Kingston's got a chance. I agree a little bit with G as well. I think he's a talented horse, isn't he? Usheen's, what, did he have a treble yesterday again? Every time William Buick gets near him, he just goes again, doesn't he? It must be so frustrating.
because of course lots was said about Frankie, of course, not being around this weekend. He's gone to Woodbine, of course, to ride for
Bull.
Godolphin there.
And Chad Brown. The other race, one ride.
Friend of the show, Ollie and Paul Cole have got the Hazardous
Duke of Hazard, running over there. Yeah, your beer's running out there at Belmont.
Danny Tudhope's over there. Big night, isn't it? All right, let's get some socials up. Spotlights, verdicts brought to you free. Hurricane Ivor, say the team, and Hurricane Ivor says Steve McGowan as well. Will this just be a little bit too sharp for him as well? Just gets going late in the day and no extra half furlong here. Manny Draycott comes back. Manny, good to see you. And I've gone with Tis Marvellous. Absolutely. If he's done you some favours on this show, hard not to have a little bit on him at the current prices. Manny, on with you. And Blake Loudon says Mackinac and Probert to win the next one.
Good man, Blake.
It's not just the crazy Enzo theory. All right, okay, all right. So lots of you out there playing. Welcome along. If you just joined us here on this wonderful September afternoon, it's Ayr Gold Cup Day. Do we call it Ayr Gold Cup Day? We have to.
Yeah, we have to.
I've been calling it the Western meeting all week.
Yeah.
Now, is that what it is? Or
Very
not?
traditional.
It's traditional. Yeah. It is still, but I've not seen it called that in the press anywhere this week. But it is still that, isn't it?
It is the Western meeting, isn't it? Do you remember this meeting last year? It was really controversial, wasn't it? As horses circle round in the paddock at what we've got around about 3 or 4 minutes for the next at Newbury. It was the meeting where COVID came in to real scrupulation, wasn't it? Because people were looking at, apparently there's a superstore next door to Ayr, isn't there? That was full of people walking around, you know, like rammed.
Oh, right. So what's the rating?
And a photographer got a picture of I don't know which superstore it is that's there. I can't remember now. I've got a feeling it's one of the big ones.
It is.
And then there was no one really walking around at Ayr, and everyone's like, come on, surely by now.
Yeah.
The numbers were quite low at the time, weren't they? So it caused a lot of controversy, that picture, I think. So delighted that there are race goers up there. They'll be supporting it.
It's such a difference, isn't it, having the people
time.
back, definitely. And the race course makes a huge difference to the whole experience.
Your adoring public is once again trying to get a word from you.
I was lucky enough to be at
You
Yarmouth
thought to be
for 2
quite
days.
a prickly character, aren't you? when you're seen walking between the commentary box and the weighing room.
Do not approach.
Not like Oshin. He stops and
I talked to everybody, I suppose. Everybody at Yarmouth who came to speak to me Tuesday or Wednesday will vouch for that. I did say that.
Kings Lynn, of course. I was up in Kings Lynn this time
Yes.
last week. There are a few quirky characters up in Kings Lynn. It's very, very well named, of course. Her Majesty, of course, who resides in Sandringham. Kings Lynn is the area. All right, okay. We're just waiting for a few more to go in. You see Ed Bethel being interviewed. It's good to chat to Ed Bethel yesterday, wasn't it? He's a young man going places. His dad went very close in pre-mornies and stuff like that in his heyday, but mine was, his father James's best horse in recent years, Bunbury Cups, Hunt Cups, things like that. Ed's already broken through, and decent strike rates.
Yeah, young fella, isn't he? 28 years old. So very young.
It's a good game, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if he can take off, which way his career goes, really.
Yeah.
So hope it goes onwards and upwards.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm sure there's a lot of intrigue around him, I think, and some of his horses, they do get backed. And Hala Athmani, who runs in 3:05, that Ryan filly that's been absolutely whacked, he had the second to it, didn't he? Roundacre, it's called, in the Armstrong colours, which we were about to see in the Silver Cup. Under Black Rod, and he's like, we got a mark of 71. He's entered it on Monday in the first race at Leicester, so look out for that one. I think they might give that Carlisle form some credence. Which is the horse you don't like here, G? I think I would be against Cardem. I think he's the one that I don't like.
I know that he did get the job done last time when he should have done, but I was a bit disappointed he couldn't get the job done earlier in the season at Salisbury when I thought he should have got the job done. And he's got a lot of defeats on his record for a horse who's quite a short price here. He wouldn't be for me. The other, there's a couple of horses who come in between trips here, aren't they? You've already mentioned Hurricane Ivor.
Tis Marvellous.
Tis Marvellous. So that's. I think you can put a line for a few of these at the top of the market.
What about a Tarlis Bay, tough little sprinter? He
I
loves
like a
Sandown.
Tarlis Bay. Yeah, he's a good horse, and he finished second to Winter Power, then won at Sandown next time.
Yeah.
But again, you do start to wonder: is he the sort of horse who wants a stiff 5?
We're about to find out significantly in the race as well. Let's go over to Tony Ennis then. This doesn't look like the earliest call you ever have. Could it be a quick Hamdan double? We'll be talking about the Shadwell, winding down the operation. What do you make of that? Favourite Hamdan horses, all that sort of stuff. Sad but inevitable, unfortunately. They kind of focus on quality, as we are in the 2:15 at Newbury.
Yes, Cardem clear favourite in the off, quite strong in the betting, 4.3. Oh, significantly is rather upset by something. Hopefully he's going to go in significantly. And he's just not yet in. The others are in. Cardem, of course, won't want too long a hold here, will he, being a bit of a speedball. He can be edgy in the stalls as well. Just about set, I think. Yep, he's in now. Blindfold off already. Eyes on stall 8 here. And they're off. Cardem got out okay-ish. Bit behind the speed, actually. Moss Gill broke better and leads up to the far side with Tis Marvellous in second place. Atalis Bay in third. Cardem now racing up keen. He's got very warm Cardem, isn't he? Awash with
He looks
sweat.
like a Rowan horse,
Yeah,
G, doesn't he?
he's absolutely flying, isn't he? He's really pulling the arms out, isn't he?
Significantly, he's next. I'm not sure he's going to get home, is he, Cardem? But we shall see. Hurricane Ivor far side.
Absolutely winging. Mosgill will do well to see this out, guys, I think.
Kings Lynn is towards the back, and held up last is Mackinac, who can't go the pace early on. Mosgill sets the scorching tempo up front. Here's significantly had a challenge. Cardem is still tracking
he's
towards
travelling,
the
isn't
outside,
he?
travelling.
Here comes
quite well.
Kings Lynn.
Kings Lynn's coming. Mackinac coming stand side as well.
Couldn't be Mackinac, could it?
Mosgill, Tis Marvellous. Come on, Mackinac, get into the frame.
insufferable.
Hurricane Ivor's bang there as well with a chance for Tommy
He'll love
Marquand.
the finish.
Up front towards
Tis
the far
Marvellous,
side.
the
Tis
5.5
Marvellous.
furlong horse. He's got it, hasn't he? Go on, Gill.
Significantly still there. Tis
Brave
Marvellous.
effort by Mosgill,
Here's
this.
Hurricane Ivor into second. Mosgill now
Wins.
just weakening. But it's still Tis Marvellous. Now Tommy Marquand. Hurricane Ivor bursting through. Hurricane Ivor wins by the length to Mosgill. Close third significantly, and the very tired Tis Marvellous, who weakened late. But well done to William Haggis and Tom Marquand.
That is the 2.15 then, the Dubai duty free. Burn up the spray. That was absolute carnage, I imagine, Barry, because changing fortunes from 2 furlongs out.
Yeah, 133. This Marvellous hit a low of in the run. 3 to 1 on. There was more money done. 137, 490 quid matched in running on that. Mosgill hit a low of 204 in running, just a little over even money. Not for much there, only 48 quid at 204, but bigger sums done at bigger prices as well. Kings Lynn, interestingly, never traded lower than 4.9. I think that was pre-race. What else got into it? Hurricane Ivor hit a high of 29 in running, would you believe? A bit of a pace collapse, really, wasn't it? 29, no, 27 for small money, 33 quid 18 on your winner was the highest, really, for any significant sums.
Yeah, Cardem finished last of all.
Didn't he? Stopped quickly.
Blew up beforehand, didn't he?
Very
Such a
sweaty,
buzzy
wasn't he?
horse. OK, so a couple of you out there had Hurricane Ivor. The Portland winner backs up quickly. William Haggis with a power sprinter again. How high can this guy go? Mosgill's run a big race there, G, as well. 2 horses either side of him that want 5.5 furlongs.
Yeah, and the real strong pace suited them because it brought their stamina into play. And Tis Marvellous had actually been outstayed by Mosgill for second, which it was a hell of a run by Mosgill from the front in the first time blinkers. But that winner is going places, isn't he? That's 2 in a row, quick succession, the Portland last week and this race here. And I think that he's well up to group. Well, he's obviously up to group class. He's just won one, but I mean, he might well be up to competing at the top level, Group 1.
Fiona Carmichael is the owner, isn't it, of course, and has other horses with Haggis. Some work in progresses with him. I think got some 2-year-olds as well, obviously came over from France.
Was it last year Haggis won the Ayr Gold Cup with a horse called Nahar, didn't it?
Yes, just got up late on, didn't it?
Similar sort of horse, isn't it, this Hurricane Ivor?
Yeah,
And Nahar almost made his mark this year, didn't he? He finished second behind Starman in a Group 2 at York.
Yeah, and so top handicapper to Group 3, not much of a step up, isn't it? Do you think this guy can go a bit higher? Of course, he's a 4-year-old, be 5 next year. We'll see what Mr. Haggis says after the race. You can get, of course, all your quotes in the members section. Check up, the results. You see the analysis, round about 20 minutes, half an hour after each race. Lovely little quote at the bottom there from the men that know on track. Of course, you can see them walking in off TV, don't you? And I don't know. Lots been said about that, actually. An owner said to me, I'm not going to name any names. He's a leading owner, and he said, "I still can't stand it when they put the mic in front of the horses. As the jockeys are coming in.
back in.
Save it for the owner." I don't know. It's almost become an accepted thing now, isn't it? A mic in your face as you walk through.
They do it a lot in Australia, don't they? Very big on interview
Well,
strategy.
actually, in Australia, they wait till they go into the weighing room.
Go into the weighing room, don't they? Yeah,
so
it's not actually on the
debrief
horseback.
has been done. They've got a lot of time. You don't say things in the heat at the moment. I don't know. Where do you stand with this, G?
I don't know.
Well, I'm a big sort of man on believing that if you want to bring money into the sport, you've got to get people into the sport. If you want to get people into the sport, they want to hear from the stars. They want to hear from the winners. They want to hear what Tom Marquand's got to say straight after the race. So I don't buy that argument at all, because the owner that you're probably talking about would be the first to complain if prize money took a drop.
Okay, there you go. We'll leave that with the big bear. We've poked him. We've got one out of him already. Congratulations to Steve McGowan, who, of course, came up in the chat, and it was the spotlight nap as well. Hurricane Ivor landed at Newbury. Keeping it simple then. Tom the Pom gets us off and running at Newbury. Shall we go back up to Ayr then? It's the Sprint Cup. Silver Cup, of course, isn't it? It's the 305. No, it's not. It's the 230. We're not... Steady on, Dave. It is, of course, the 230. A 3-year-old then at the head of the betting here in very famous colours. Mecca's Angel. What else, Dave? as Dave Armstrong had. He's got Bickerstaff in here as well, hasn't he? Pendleton, horses like that over the years, isn't he?
Yeah,
All sprinters.
Yeah, Michael Dodds, very good
Drawn
trainer.
in 10.
Right in the middle.
Fav. All right, let's see what Barry makes of this in the market. He's drifted out a little bit, Barry, but there's no. Is there any danger in him being usurped at the top?
No. I'm going to say no. He's 6.2 at the head of the market. He's fairly strong at that 9. Magical Spirit. Royal Scimitar, a friend of mine, is 10. 13, 5. Brick and Staff. Musical Society, 15. 18. Whoa, and it's 25 bar. What we're going to do here, G-Rod, we're going to take advantage of additional place terms on the Betfair Sportsbook. They're playing 6 places to each way punters here. And the horse I like in it is Black Friday. His last 5 runs in Ayr, the form figures read 1-1-3-2-1. Absolutely loves the place. 2 runs back, he was a course and distance winner off 83 when he beat Musical Society half a length. That was back in July. He went to a listed race then in Chester where he was drawn wide. He never got involved in the speed early, which he needs to be. He likes to race prominently, and I'll forgive him that. Just at the price, he's currently at 25 to 1 chance. So we're going to have 25 quid each way him at 25 to 1, taking advantage of the additional place terms on the Betfair Sportsbook where they're paying 6 places to each way punters here.
All right, that's very interesting, Barry, and that I like that. That's, you know, you look at these all-weather horses. This would be the easiest metaphor I could use for that, and you see that they've been running on turf, not getting themselves handicapped, G, but then you see that a horse, Southwell used to be the classic, didn't it, and the Fibre Sand, don't get me going, I'm still in mourning, but you see these horses that turn up at Kempton or Wolverhampton, the form figures elsewhere are duck eggs, 6 and 7s, and then if you look cleverly enough, there are the 1s and the 2s and the 3s and the 4s, and this obviously has it at Ayr as well, he's likely pace angle.
Yeah, he is. What do you think of the draw here, Dave? Because this is going to be one of the big debates of the day, isn't it? Everyone loves, on these big sprint handicaps, everyone gets obsessed with the draw, don't they? Which side is going to be? Is it going to be on? Now, was it Mel Rose, maybe, who I was reading?
Your boss, Mel Rose.
His piece recently, and I think he was suggesting high numbers might be the place to be. But we will see, won't we, Dave?
What was he suggesting that on, where the likely front runners are? Because we did this yesterday,
Pace,
didn't we? It doesn't matter if you've got 5 front runners on low numbers if the high side just go faster.
Yes.
You know, it's where it's obviously which group goes faster that brings in your bridle horses, doesn't it? Basically, so
yeah. Obviously, you don't want no pace on your side because then it's going to be more slowly run. So you're going to. But also, I don't think you want too much pace on your side because if it gets too much pace, it goes too fast. The races run almost inefficiently on that side, and the more efficient side will win. You need a few front runners, but I don't think you want a complete burn up.
I think that we're going to see the middle of the track being used today. We saw it in the Bronze Cup yesterday, and didn't we? Low numbers sort of dominated, but it was one group up the centre. Do
you think they'll do that? They'll just do that again?
Yeah.
Go into one little
excellent
group.
Kevin Morning, his 10-year trends. If you read that today in the members section in your papers, you will see that the highest 5 and the lowest 5 don't fare well in the Gold Cup. It tends to be horses that are not. Great Ambassador drawn in 1. Comanche drawn in 2.
You don't think if somebody's drawn very high, like your Air Raids and your Total Commitment here, they won't just say, right, we're just going to come down this stand-side rails.
Is Air Raid a non in this?
Sorry, Total Commitment in 24. Your Air Raid's out.
I could have stitched you right.
Total Commitment in 24. Is he not going to just come right down the stand side and just say... Because if you're going to go in the middle, you're almost giving up the race, aren't you, if you're drawn high?
It's quite funny. I was
advantage,
having this discussion on draw with Tom Siegel last week, and he was like, "I don't understand."
It's a friendly chat because you can lock heads a little bit with a great prize-wise Supremo, can't you?
Yeah, I can lock heads with most people if they want to, but no, they were like, we were having a discussion about it, and I was saying, well, you know, you don't want to be drawn here, and he was like, you know, this is just complete nonsense. I don't get people who think that being drawn an inch one side, an inch the other side, really makes that much difference. He said, at the end of the day, surely it just depends how good the horse is.
Yeah,
all right. Probably right to a certain extent.
All right, well, I'm hoping that it'll be down the middle. The Fav's in 10. He's still just about, well, he is, of course, he's going to go clear Fav, isn't he? Black Rod, of course. The hat-trick seeking Michael Dodds.
And the horse I fancy will make it for him, Black Friday, because he likes to get off in front, and he's drawn at 14. So.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
There's going to be pace there for the favourite to aim at.
I'm happy to hear that because in stall 11, I like Boardman for Paul Hannigan and Tim Easterby.
Do you want softer ground, Boardman?
Well, they've had a bit of juice. Let's give you some times at Ayr. It was around about over 3 seconds slow over a mile. The race before we came on air, the Doonside Cup, 2.33, just above. So that suggests a proper good ground
Start of the
time.
season, I
They
really
didn't go
liked
quick,
him.
did they?
He looked really good, didn't he?
Boardman,
He won
yeah.
at York and he won at Chester, I
Yeah,
think.
and they thought to themselves, have we got a sort of
horse.
Ayr Gold Cup type horse here? He hasn't obviously got into the Ayr Gold Cup. Next year, I think we'll be seeing him in the Gold Cup. He tends to run over 7 furlongs. He absolutely hosed up at the Chester May meeting, didn't he? And that was the day. I think, with a lot of pace around him, he can run a massive
Didn't enjoy
race.
Ripon, did he? The Great St Wilfrid. I think the ground was too fast. Was it that day?
You're happy to forgive anyone a run at Ripon, aren't you, with the undulations there? You either love Ripon or you loathe it, basically. It's a Marmite track for horses, that. I like Boardman in his 11.
What about last year's
He's
winner,
big
Magical
boss.
Spirit? He's back in it again, isn't he? Is he £5 higher, is he, than last?
Seemingly being well backed as well.
He
for
ran well
Kevin
last
Scott
time,
and
didn't he? I
Kevin
thought, but he was third. Looks like he's been aimed at this race again, isn't he? Obviously, this is his big race.
Yeah, where was he last year, Magical Spirit, when he won? Let's have a little look. Beat the Admiralty, of course. He was in stall 4.
Same.
And can he get on? He's in exactly the same stall. Yeah, okay, there you go. And where was he? Oh, yeah, of course, he's a Maid-All horse, isn't he? So,
He'll be up the pace, definitely.
Royal Scimitar. Barry, where are you sitting with this chap? Tom Segal put him up after that luckless run at Ascot, which is when we sort of saw him after the Newmarket run. Thought there's a big one in him. They aimed at this. It hasn't really gone that way since. Is this going to be one of these egg on face moments if you're a project Royal Scimitar?
Yeah, I backed him in the Shergar Cup that day, and it just nothing went right for me. Fell out of stalls. Holly, Nicola Curry rode him, nearly went out over his head. Raced by himself up the stand side, and he wasn't beaten that far. I followed up again in the race in Newmarket when Summerhand won, and then last day he showed a bit of a return to form behind Popmaster. They're putting blinkers on him for the first time. I don't know whether I could face into him. I'd want to see how he breaks. He's possibly an in-running bet if he was to break on terms with them. He could be there or thereabouts for sure. He won't be far away, but I'd like to see him just break first.
Fingers on the buzzers then in running, perhaps with Royal Scimitar. Clive Cox, Hector Crouch will be hoping he's on his best behaviour today. Yeah, he is in danger, G, isn't he? He's becoming one of those, as you say, a Juan Elcano, if you like, an excuses horse.
Yeah, he is. And I watched the race last time at Ascot, and I did the sectionals on it as well. They're on the website. They're on the Ascot's website if anyone wants to go and look at the sectionals for the race. The horse that finished third, Tinto, finished faster than Royal Scimitar. So the fact that Royal Scimitar looked unlucky, then you've got to say that Tinto also missed the break and did a lot wrong in the race.
I mean, obviously you've done the sizzlers today in the paper. I did a feature show with you yesterday. We're not telling anyone they don't know on this show that Tinto is your Ayr Gold Cup pick.
Well, for a start, I think he's at least as good a horse as Royal Scimitar.
So you'll be hoping that Royal Scimitar at least.
Well, yeah, I hope Royal Scimitar's there.
Brushes the crossbar.
I think if Royal Scimitar's there, my horse will be there, Tinto as well. And Royal Scimitar's around 13 to 6 to 1, and Tinto is a much bigger price. And I know that this would have been the race that they've been aiming this horse at for a long time. I mean, Amanda Perrett doesn't run horses at Ayr, hardly ever. Obviously, it's an absolute mile for her to go up there. And I know the owners absolutely love this meeting. Basically, they love the Ayr Gold Cup meeting. It's one of their favourite meetings of the year. And they've been hoping that this horse would make up into a Gold Cup horse. But obviously he's come down in the weights this year, been a bit disappointing. But he is back down to 91, and I thought it was a very timely return to form, that race at Ascot.
This is in the 340 at Ayr, it's the Gold Cup, and you've put up Tinto. And I'll tell you what, the more
he runs here in the silver.
Tinto's in this.
Sorry, he's in this. Was this your nap yesterday? Sorry. Is he in here, Tinto, is he? Okay. Wake up, Dave Orton.
He's made a very cogent case for the horse there as well. I feel like myself after listening to that.
Exactly. He did this with us yesterday. We were thinking he was absolutely mad, and then we're like, okay, this is gunpowder, treason and plot, isn't it? I thought he got into the big one. Of course, he's 91 now, isn't
back at the moment, Tinto.
Wow. It's that sort of race. I mean, half of the horses, I'll have to remind myself they're actually running in here. I mean, Shallow Hal, Kind Review, Streamline down the bottom. I'm not even, mid-Winster about was my cut-off in this, I think. So, all right, fair enough. This is the tip in this. I do beg your pardon.
Yeah, this one here. I mean, the big worry for them and for me and everyone who's backing him is that he might miss the break, because he's a habit of completely missing the break.
There's a couple of horses in here that can really.
You've got Paul Mulrennan's quite an interesting booking as well for Amanda Perrett. He doesn't ride very often.
Did you look how many runs he'd had for her?
He's had 22 rides all time and won on 4 of them. But he's only had 3-4 in the last 5 years, so he's a very, very rare booking for Amanda Perrett. And of course, he has an excellent record at Ayr, doesn't he, Paul Mulrennan? So.
Yeah, and the chap that was jigging away at your wedding will be happy if this wins, of course.
He will, yeah, a good friend of mine. Yeah, I know the owner. Yeah.
There you go then. All right, all of a sudden Tinto coming in for a little bit of a spike down. They are going in. Magical Spirit, he looks like a picture actually, doesn't he, for the Ryans? Of course, the Ryans have got Hey Jonesy in the big one. They've got Bielsa, who ran such a big race, didn't he, in it last year.
With this Bielsa, just doesn't win, does he? He's always there.
6-year-old now, yeah, but Stotty's gone for him. So
the money for Woven, I've noticed as well, that's coming to point.
Yeah, interesting horse, Woven. Used to be with Dave Simcott, know a lot about him. Used to back him in Maidan. He needs a prop. He's basically a 6.5 furlong horse. So he's caught between 6 and 7 furlongs, Woven. Michael Dodds
He'll be finishing, wouldn't he? I can see him staying on for a place.
Quick fire socials, let's get them in then as they're coming. Who's O'Malley, 6 for the silver, will go to Black Rod, nap of the day. What is all the Black Rod about then? G-Rod.
Yeah, well, he could be the star in the race, couldn't he? He's a bit like in the Gold Cup, the favourite, their great ambassador. If there is a star in this race, it's probably Blackwood.
He's ahead of his mark. OK, Mally Draycott thinks so. Duffs comes on and says last year's winner, Magical Spirit from the same stall. It's all there written in the stars, Duffs, isn't it? OK, great stuff. Good to hear from you. Keep your coming in. We've got a bit of time later on in the show. Keep your selections coming in. Keep your best horse of in the world. Who is it? There's Palace Pier not being talked about, of course, at the moment. Very interesting. Well, 4-star horses, 127, lofty rating. There was a Group 1 down under, of course, Nature Strip in that. He got beaten by a horse called Eduardo this morning. I don't know. Where do we go? The Americans got the best horses. Is it Nick's Go? I don't want to get you into this now, but Enzo's the man to ask about that. You're doing stateside tonight as well.
I am, yeah. Big night, Wood by Mile, Canadian International, Jockey Club Derby Invitational, Jockey Club Oaks as well.
What we call the Enzo double, this, isn't it?
This is, yeah.
RP Live, and then this evening on stateside as well.
Across town we go.
Greediest man in racing. OK, all right, let's go across to the best commentator in racing. It is Tony Ennis.
Right, here we go. If we're looking out for the favourite, he's in the middle in 10. That is Black Rod. The other horse in the similar colours is Bickerstaff. Off they go. Right, Black Rod. He's got out quite well in the middle with a white cap and noseband towards the centre. He's shown lots of pace, actually. Woven missed the kick quite badly. Heading up the far side is Staxton from the low draw in yellow and white colours. Also far side is Magical Spirit. They're going into 2 groups at the moment as they race towards the centre of the track. Mid-Winster, I think, is the cut-off point, coming stand side. And that's leading Black Rod up there early on. These two towards the head of affairs. Boardman's just dropped in behind. Staxton's over on the far side rails. But it's Mid-Winster leading Black Rod at the moment. Those two at the head of affairs. And also right up there as well is Soldier's Minute. Soldier's Minute, Mid-Winster, Black Rod, the 3 leaders. Magical Spirit's not far away. Royal Scimitar's got a bit of ground to make up from there as 1 or 2 of them start to struggle already. Still there, Soldier's Minute, far side. Black Rod's moving well though, goes into 2nd place now. Under pressure is last year's winner, Magical Spirit. Staxton is over on the far side. Soldier's Minute's in front though. Black Rod trying to lift. Mid-Winster stand side. Also Bergerac I can see trying to come into it as well. But it's still Soldier's Minute who has the lead. He's made all to this point. He still leads Staxton. Black Rod needs to do better. Soldier's Minute from Staxton as they go towards the line. Soldier's Minute. Staxton's coming back. Staxton, Soldier's Minute. Staxton, I think, Soldier's Minute, 3rd Black Rod, and not many got into it in behind. Mid-Winster wasn't that far away either. I think it's just Staxton Silver Cup by a whisker from Soldier's Minute.
I'll tell you what, we've given some stick, but what a call that was. If you were sticking with us here on RP Live for the Silver Gold Cup, I would have been all over the place with that. I'd have thrown the papers would have gone all over the place. I'd have just given up. But they ended up on the far side, G. Let's go to Barry then, because Soldier's Minute looked like he had it all the way. Staxton bravely rallied on that far rail.
Yes, Staxton drawn 2 on the far rail. Soldier's Call hit a low of 103, so 33 to 1 on. He was matched at 56 quid, 25 to 1 on for 148 quid, 16 on for 968 quid. Saxon of Betfair SP at 37 as well. He's really lasted at home, hasn't he, under Duran Fenton? What a season for Tim Easterby.
So many never got into it, though. It was a weird race, wasn't it, Barry? You normally get 5 or 6 with a chance, but there was a race where it was almost the same front 3 almost throughout, wasn't it?
Yeah, my Boardman, he went over that side, but he just could not go to pace whatsoever.
Staxton was up there early. Then he dropped back a bit, the winner, and then he's come back again near the line. So rails.
If you believe in these things, stall 2 takes the silver. Who's in stall 2? Michael Dodds, Comanche Falls, very well fancied. Let us know who wins the big one, 340. Gee, what do you make of that? I mean, I didn't know where to look at one point.
It's funny, isn't it? Because halfway through the race, I thought, oh, the stand side looks like the bigger group. Maybe that's the place to be. And then all the winners have come up the far side. The first
Royal Scimitar absolutely fell out the stalls again, like he did at Ascot. He was one of the first beaten. He just looks a tricky horse, doesn't he?
Yeah,
off the list, I think.
Yeah,
I'm crossing him out, Royal Scimitar.
Yeah, do you think the high numbers have got absolutely no chance, or is it crazy to think that?
Yeah,
Staxton was. He was right right, not just over the far side, he's bang against
bang
that
on
fence, isn't he?
He scraped the
Good
paint,
ride that,
as they
wasn't it?
say.
It does
Yeah.
make you wonder, is there a quicker strip of ground that side? Was there a false rail in for the first 2 days? I don't know. It's something worth checking, isn't it?
Where did the winner come in the Doonside Cup? Was that was the Flying Ginger that stuck to the rail, wasn't it? 89 rated horse just beating an Enlisted race,
Yeah,
Route 3 race.
interesting.
So who's again?
Maybe stall one could be good for the Fab.
It's great ambassador. Barry, 340. They've seen its far side now. You know what punters are like. You know what bookies are like. Does that mean great ambassador could go under 3-1 yet?
It's hard to see that happening, Dave, to be perfectly honest with you, in such a competitive race. I don't think he's going to go off. I can't. I'm not with him anyway, but I'd be laying him if he gets that short. I'll be taking him on.
Oh, okay, all right. So maybe some more angles coming in for us then. Well, that was the Silver Cup. Isn't it a pleasure to be at the Western meeting? I like that, G. You reminded me. Let's be traditionalists.
Yeah, the Western meeting.
So it's the same week as we have the Eastern meeting at Yarmouth, and we have the Western meeting at Ayr, always the same week.
Yeah, which of course
Go from east to west.
you got the gig at the Eastern meeting.
The first 2 days, yeah. It was
Ever been up to
enjoyable.
Ayr and commentated?
I have done Ayr, yeah, a long time ago. I think about my 3rd year. I've not been up since. I must have upset.
Didn't make an impression there.
Obviously not.
Did you call it the Eastern meeting when you were commentating?
It wasn't.
there this
It was a non-Eastern meeting day. It was like a very quiet, miserable day in October. It rained all day, and it wasn't the nicest experience.
What, at Yarmouth?
Ayr.
Yeah.
I went up
Oh,
there.
right, okay.
For
Right.
the other time I've been up there.
Okay, so we are what? We're an hour away basically from the big one then at Ayr. We've got the Firth of Clyde, really halla Athmani coming up in that. Still waiting for a Fav to go in at Ayr then. Could she be the one? Let us know what you fancy in that. Of course, now we've got to go to a really interesting race. It's the 250 at Newbury. They used to call this an ARC trial. In fact, it's actually now got in
the
brackets,
ARC
isn't it?
trial.
Formerly the ARC trial. It wasn't much of an ARC trial, that's for sure. There's the market. One of the pivotal horses of the weekend, you sense, not just for punters, Barry Orr, but for Shadwell, the operation. Announced this week that they're cutting down a lot of horses going, but the late Sheikh Hamdan's daughter, Hissa, she is, she's got her interest in horses. We want to concentrate on quality. This bloke was thought to be the crown jewel. They've gelded him.
Yeah, he was an ARC hopeful at one stage earlier on in the season after winning a race here. I remember we quoted him for the ARC, and ironic that this is formerly an ARC trial and they've gelded him and he's going for it now. But he's no ARC horse, that's for sure. He's 178 at the moment. He's dogged it twice now for me. Pile Driver, he traded at 101 in Epsom that day, 101 on the basement price in running, and got chinned by Pile Driver. And then he traded short as well when he got done by Sir Ron Presley in that Prince of Wales Tattersall Stakes in Newmarket, the July course. They've since gelded him, bad sign itself, and obviously he's had a bit of a layoff and he's back here. So I think he's one for taking on. Fox's Tails has a chance, Illarab has a chance, Solid Stone I think has a big chance if he gets off and gets a soft front, gets a soft lead in front. And it's hard to see where the real pace is going to come from here for Al-Az. He likes to have something to aim at, and I'm not sure he's going to get it. Could be a really tactical affair, this. So looking to take him on at the price, 180. Happy to lay him at that big time. Please, G-Rod, and we'll take 50 quid at the backer's stake. We look to get him beat.
We just knew it was going to happen, didn't we? The lay of Al-Azi going in for Barry Orr, then Betfair's big hitter. Happy to take him on. All right, 250. You've got around about 10 minutes if you want to get involved. Okay, now we've only got 5 runners here, but I sense we can talk quite a bit about this race. Because Barry's, I mean, there is that sense of irony there, G, isn't there, at the start of the season? Indeed, ARC quotes coming left, right and centre. And here he is in the, what we know isn't really an ARC trial, and he has been gelded. So, dogged it twice, says Barry. I mean, I think it was the Pile Driver run, wasn't it, where people went, hang on a minute.
Newmarket was, I wouldn't say he dogged it at Newmarket. I think
I thought Newmarket was the one where I was a bit disappointed with him.
A very strong stayer, didn't he? A really determined.
Sir Ron.
And Sir Ron is a strong
He come there to do him, didn't he?
Came together. I don't think that was that bad. I thought,
is it any surprise that they've given him the cruelest cut of all?
probably not, no. But I think he's the best horse, isn't he? Surely on figures by a long way.
It's interesting to see what sort of plan they might have for this chap. What's he in? Let's have a look. This is Al-Azi, of course. We're talking about the 8 to 11 on favourite. Gelded, I still, every time I click on him, I see that. Of course, he's got great Newbury form. He's
still in the ARC and the Champion Stakes.
Yeah,
it's a 20-1 chance for the Champion Stakes.
Yeah, they still rate him highly, this fella.
That could be interesting, couldn't it? A horse rated 120. If he absolutely dots up here. I mean, gee,
is he deserving of that rating, Dave? Is he deserving of that rating? Like the 2 horses that he beat earlier on in the season, Janie, like one of them's being without a flight.
Yeah.
What's he rated now? 105, and he beat Outbox, I suppose.
He beat a very bad magician. He beat an absolutely gone magician, didn't he?
It's almost like the handicappers have rated it on the Coronation Cup run, that 120 mark, where Japan was 7 lengths off in Barry. Was that the real Japan that day? I don't know. Pile drive we haven't really seen since Williams. Ron Precy obviously unfortunately injured in the Goodwood Cup after. So look, lots to prove for this chap. But if you think that he was a bit wayward, could the gelding operation get him? What I'm interested in is, do you think we could be looking at, if you read William Aggis's quote in the paper, he won't be totally at his best, but he won't be far off. That very much suggests after a 72 break, not a fact-finding mission, but this is a prep, as you might expect.
If you're backing him at 177, you'd want him at his best, wouldn't you? If you're backing him today.
Perhaps this is an arc trial. Perhaps Newbury will go, hang on a minute, we might have an absolute springer in it. I don't know. We'll get to why you don't like him in a second, but could this? I mean, if he hoses up, G, what I'm saying is for anti-post backers out there, could Shadwell be going to Del Mar with this chap?
No, I don't think they will.
Okay.
I don't think that
Champion Stakes
that good. I don't think that he's Group 1 standard. I think that he's proved that in a way. Obviously, Pile Driver, he ran Pile Driver close in a Group 1, but Pile Driver's not a top Group 1 horse, is he?
So this is what you would call a Big Bear excuses favourite, and you've napped against him.
Yeah, I think that you've got to be absolutely desperate to take him on. I agree with a lot of what Barry said. He's coming off a layoff. He's been gelded. His best days, to me, already look behind him. You look at his form, he's a bit regressive. His RPRs are a bit regressive. You thought he was going to make the big step up. He's not done it. He's disappointed. He's now on the way down. And he's priced on his old form. He's priced as if he's coming in on the back of a couple of really good wins like he was at the start of the season. But he isn't, is he? He's coming in off a long layoff, a poor run last time, in my opinion, where he was beaten by a far inferior horse on his best.
Did you wake up this morning and go, I'm going to get Al-Azi beat?
I was like, yeah. I mean, the two worries if you're laying him. The one is that he loves Newbury, all of his best forms at Newbury. And I think he's well suited by funny tactical races like this where he can just go around on the bridle and just beat them up. I don't think he's ideally suited by... any sort of race.
Yeah, if he has to roll his sleeves up, I'm not sure that he wants to do that, does he?
No.
What about the ground for him as well? A lot of people saying he wanted easier ground as well. I remember doing the Newmarket analysis when he ran at the July meeting, and I said, perhaps is that a reason why he's rolling around a little bit?
Really fast ground.
The sun has been... I'm not too far, as a crow flies from Newbury, my home, and the sun was baking. It was, which was... I'll get to my selection. That won't be ideal for him either, but it's not Al-Azi. But you have napped with...
It won't be fast though, will it?
It won't be. I think it will be again.
Should be fine.
Should be
so
goodish.
yeah, I think that I'm fairly confident that Fox's Tails can beat him. I mean, he's a different horse. He's almost Al-Azi at the start of the season. He's going that way. He's really making his progress well. He's lightly raced 3-year-old. When he won at Royal Ascot, I thought he was wildly impressive. Last time out, Haydock won very, very nicely. Beat a horse called Fancy Man, who finished second to Solid Stone, I think, who's in this race, and then went on to win next time. I think that form's fairly solid. They come clear. All of his best form, Fox's Tails, is with a little bit of cut in the ground.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that it isn't fast. But as long as it's not fast, I don't think that'll be a problem. He obviously needs to improve, no doubt about it. Even if Al-Azi underperforms,
He should stay, shouldn't he?
Still
In a
needs to
tactical affair around Newbury.
yeah, I don't think
He looks like a horse that keeps finding.
I don't think the trip will be a problem
Yeah.
for him. And of course, has there been any better trainer-jockey combination this flat season on Saturdays than Andrew Borden and Oshie Murphy? I mean, they have just had a fantastic year, haven't they? And I think that this one could continue it for them.
Yeah, Osheen, absolutely different gravy, isn't he? Okay, all right, that's nap time then. Foxtails for Graeme Rodway, Barry Orr, happy to press the lay button on Al-Azi. You've got time to let us know where you're going in the 250. Before we get some socials up, let's go to me and Enns. Enns?
Do you know what Graham's taught me around with this Fox's Tails? I was with Al-Azi originally this morning.
What? But did you put him up to the producers, or have you literally just been talked into it?
I'm convinced, listening to Barry, listening to Graeme.
Because you've done this in the Ayr Gold Cup. He came into the office, didn't he? And he ran in like the rabbit out of Alice in Wonderland. Didn't say hello to any of us. He went, I've got to change my selection in the Ayr Gold Cup. I've been given, I won't say what you said, but
5,000 to 1 now.
Which is what I put up yesterday when he was a proper price.
Yeah, I think he wins. Gulliver, I've gone off Gulliver, so that means Gulliver's going to absolutely hack up. But yeah, I'm going to swap over here. I'm going to jump ship from Al-Azi. I'm going to desert the sinking ship that is Al Azi, and I'm going to go on to this Fox's Tails. He ran well, didn't he, last time when he won? Quite like the form. Obviously, Andrew Balding, Ashley Murphy, and he's going that way, isn't he? Up Fox's Tails.
Yeah.
I think Al Azi. I don't trust him now after those 2 defeats. Do you think he's the sort of horse that will either win on the bridle or just completely chuck it in, or is he going to finish second?
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we?
If Al Azi wins this, he's just going to win it swinging along on the bridle.
Yes.
And he's going to make us all look stupid.
Jim Crowley absolutely loves him, doesn't he? Because when he won and he beat Thunderous on that bad ground when Logician came back.
Look at this race, and I just think I'll be mightily disappointed if Fox's Tails can't get him at it. And if Fox's Tail gets him at it, I think that
he's got a bit of a hookum about him, isn't he? That sort of just not quite Group 1. Or sort of mop up these sort of lesser races at Newbury, these Group 3s and things. But
I can't believe how weak in the betting Solid Stone has been. Everyone who watches any shows that I do or anything like that,
needs a bit of pushing along.
I love this horse. Well, that
need a bit of stoking.
Richard Kingscote last time at Windsor, he looked beat. I dashed after this show to go to that meeting.
Windsor,
it's fair to say it was a big hope, and he looked beaten, and he came out and he just I just love this horse. I napped him at Royal Ascot as well. The whole meeting I napped him, and the ground had dried out for him. He looks fine down there. They slapped on cheek pieces onto him last time at Windsor. Maybe he does want this trip. And as Barry alluded to, he could be the pace angle. I'm slightly worried about Ilarab on that front. Whenever Haggis puts 2 in a race with a big fancy in it, I think to myself, you're going to spoil the pace, aren't you? If they go too hard, that will suit Al Azi. But at the prices, William Buick on. This is a horse whose form. That Windsor form, by the way, the 2 horses he's beaten. Fancy Man won, albeit an egg and spoon.
But he won.
And then Harrovian
won the 3-horse race at
Jari. Yeah, where Frankie, everyone said he's still got it, best jockey in the world. So the form is there, and I just love this chap, and he's got Newbury form as well. We saw him behind Real World earlier in the season. Perhaps he does just want this trip. Ilarab, let's talk about him. The wheels have come off.
Remember that he won the first time out, didn't he? I think it was the
six-timer
meeting, wasn't it? Yeah, he couldn't lose a race last year, but then just there's a couple of defeats since. But he could easily bounce back, couldn't he? Cheek pieces they've reached for today as well.
Yeah, they run him in the Hardwick, and William Haggis thinks he's better going left-handed. He told us earlier in the season, didn't he? And so he's only had 2 runs since, but it was a bit lukewarm last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You went off 5-1 favourite
in the Ebor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't really turn up, Barry. He beat him 53 lengths. What do you do with a horse like that, Barry? Do you think it was just like too bad to be true? So you line through run, or?
Yeah, you have to forgive him that run, don't you? It's easy enough to forgive him. The Ebor is obviously. It's a very good race with Sonny Boy Listen going on to win the Grade 1 Irish St. Ledger last Sunday in the Curragh, but he's beaten too far to be true. He sat up in the plate and let him come home in his own time. Obviously, I wonder, was there an excuse for him, or have they spoke publicly about it? But too bad to be true.
He ran poorly from a bad draw, says William Haggis, with putting the cheek pieces on for the first time. But he certainly is a Group 3 horse, there's no doubting that. All right, what an interesting race. Ad infinitum. Must mention him. Why? Because David Simcock has won 4 of the last 6 of these, with, of course, Desert Encounter, who's got a big weekend ahead of him again, isn't he?
In America tonight, isn't she?
Yeah. What else has he won it with, Simcock? The Corsican, do you remember him? He was a character, wasn't he? And Algometer as well. So, total outsider, rated 95. Why is he running in this race? Interesting. We don't know enough about him thus far. And St Albans Bloodstock.
Ran the Ribblesdale, didn't she, last time?
Yes. And they've got some horses, haven't they, again this year, St Albans. They've made some big investments. They had a 2-year-old win yesterday for Hannans at the meeting. Horatio, was it, I think? Looked like a nice horse going forward. 3-year-olds haven't fared so well in this in the last 10 years. Just 2 of the last 10 have won, but the fancied ones tend to do it. William Haggis is on a hat-trick, young rascal. The last 3-year-old to win in 2018, and before that, he won with Green Destiny. Who remembers Green Destiny? Was that John Smith's Cup winner?
Yes.
Adam Bashitska.
Dark green colours, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Remember him.
All right, okay. Solid Stone. I don't mind seeing Solid Stone. I know him so well.
Does this at stalls, isn't he?
He's a pal. I don't mind him. It means he's on his game when he gets a little bit wound up just before the start, hoping he gets an easy lead. If he does, that price will crash. Ad infinitum, getting ready to go in. I tell you what, Al Azi's having a bit of a think about it, isn't he?
There he is, Al Azi. What price is he now? 1.7. Has he come in a bit? 7.2.
172.
They backed him with it, Barry.
Yeah, he's 172 from 180, so 8 to 11 from 4 to 5. Foxtails 3-5. Ilarab holding his price at 12. Solid Stone 8 to 17 from 13. That's the negative, and I don't think it's just because he was a bit fractious at the stalls.
Okay, thank you, Barry Orr. Right, so
Here we go.
Off then for the Group 3, formerly the ARC trial. Will we still see an ARC horse in Al Azi? Good luck wherever you're playing. It's the 250.
It's the Dubai Duty Free Legacy Cup, formerly the Art Trial, and they're off. Last to leave the stalls is the filly Ad Infinitum. She's going to drop in. She's been free before in the past, Ad Infinitum. She's the back marker and she's looking like she wants to go a bit quicker again. Solid Stone has made the running. He leads in the hands of William Buick by a length to his championship rival Asheen Murphy. Fox's Tails for King Power Racing in second place. Ilarab, Baton Marcon won the previous race, is right there in third place. Then the hot favourite Al-Azi in fourth on the recovery mission after 2 expensive defeats. And the back marker of the 5 is the filly Ad Infinitum under Callum Shepherd. The outsider trails them early on. Steady pace set by Solid Stone. He leads a length clear to Fox's Tails, who's on the outside of Ilarab. Al-Azi just in behind, isn't he? 1 out, 1 back, and the back marker Ad Infinitum.
I'm really surprised, Barry, that Solid Stone, having got his own way with ground he likes, he's this colour, but has not come in more. It's all about Al-Azi still.
No, if anything, Solid Stone has drifted. He's out to 20, but they're all travelling well themselves, Dave. From an in-running point of view, nothing to report. 1-7 Al-Azi. He went off at 1-7-4.
See, gee, I like Solid Stone here.
Yeah, it looks
He
a bit
may get
tactical.
outclassed,
Looks a
but
bit
I like it.
tactical to me here, Dave. Don't you think? Not a hell of a lot of pace on, but he is quickening it up now in front. So.
How are you feeling about your nap on
Yeah,
Osheen?
quite happy with that position.
Osheen
in
and
the right
Buick will
place,
be
isn't
thinking
he?
this is a big one on a Saturday in the title race.
Quite interesting. He's just stalking Fox's Tails on Al-Azi, isn't he? He's hoping that he can get to him on the bridle.
Keen, isn't he, Al-Azi? I thought Jim was trying to get him to settle a bit more than he is. Passing the 5 then round the home turn. Solid Stone the length clear to Fox's Tails poised in second. Ilarab on the inside. Al-Azi wants to go a bit quicker, doesn't he? He's tanking up on the outside. Ad Infinitum, she remains the back marker. They're making a beeline towards the centre to stand side.
Ooh.
Solid Stone, they're shunning anything to do with the far side of the track here. Solid Stone
William,
leading.
ask him.
Ilarab, Fox's Tails, Al-Azi, what's he going to find now? Jim Crowley hasn't pressed the buttons just yet. Ad Infinitum's the back marker. Solid Stone in front. Al-Azi is coming there strongly. Fox's Tails now wants a bit more.
finding, the stone.
Ilarab, far side, Ad Infinitum. Al-Azi is still...
Oh, he's laughing at him.
Going well, isn't he?
Side. Fox's Tails. She needs to try and shut the door on him, doesn't he?
I'll tell you
But
what.
Jim Crowley
He's
He's off the bridle
Close the door,
now.
Asheen. Close the door, Ash.
Oh,
Ilarab
Solid
is there.
Stone not
Solid
done
Stone.
with.
Now Al-Azi's going to have to roll his sleeves
Come
up.
on the stone.
Doesn't want to fight, does he,
Oh.
Al-Azi?
Ilarab.
Asheen
Aye,
Fox's Tails. Al-Azi
Come on the stone.
Solid Stone's
Come on the stone.
It's Buick.
Yes, he's
Murphy.
rock solid.
Stone and
Come on the
Fox's Tails.
stone.
Oh, Solid
Aye,
Stone.
aye.
Buick gets one over on Asheen Murphy. Solid Stone wins the Legacy Cup, beat Fox's Tails. Ilarab third. The 1, 2, 3, the Jockeys Championship, first, second, and third. But it's
Oh,
Buick who
gee,
takes-
I've done your nap with the stone. He's rock hard, this chap, isn't
I tell
he?
you, who isn't the rock hard, Al-Azi? As soon as he had to fight, didn't like it, did he?
Pandemonium, unbelievable scenes for the first time this afternoon
He did.
here on Racing Post Live. Let's get it a bit calm, serenity. Let's go to Dublin and see what Barry Orr made of the race.
Yeah, Al-Azi down tools again. I think it's fair to say he
Shucked
travelled
it.
well in himself, and when push came to shove, he didn't want to know about it. He's folded like a cheap tent. He's 1.16, 1.16 he was in running.
Oh.
He's 6-1 on for 232 quid, and then we have Fox's Tail, 1.12, 8-1 on. That hit a low off for 612 quid. Your winner, who looked at it, but you said it, Dave.
He's
He
tough as
keeps
teak,
finding,
isn't
he keep pulling it out. He's really, really tough. He traded at a high of, there was a quid done at 830.
Is that yours, Dave?
And quids all the way down. The first double figures was 140 for
140.
13 quid. 140 for 13
Well, he looked
quid.
cooked,
Yeah, so
didn't
He looked cooked at Windsor, though, didn't he?
Yes,
When
he did.
Fought back.
And that
won.
form has
What a
been
cracking
seen to the
race.
fore.
He's
Yeah,
He's
great
the
race,
new Iron
Barry.
Horse, isn't he?
He's the giant. He's the causeway. Are
Solid
you on the
Stone has
floor
got
about
good
that, or
names,
are you? I mean, because
I think Asheen Murphy, I don't know what you think. I thought he had one eye on what Jim Crowley was doing.
100%.
Didn't he? And he was just trying to, he did the right thing, though. Anybody's laid Al-Azi, he needs to thank Asheen because he
And if
boxed
anyone's
him in.
back Solid Stone, he's absolutely done me a
Asheen was
massive
just looking
favour.
at Jim, wasn't he, and see where he was. Well, that was happening. Marquand and Buick were coming back into it.
Let's go to G. Al-Azi first and foremost.
Yeah.
Gelded.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Don't look good, did it?
ooh, what are we waiting for some headgear on this chap?
Yeah, you don't like to see him come there travelling like
He
that.
doesn't like it up and
Finish like
folded like a cheap tent.
I think he needs 8 flights of hurdles, doesn't he, Barry, Al-Azi?
say again.
Get him over 8 flights of hurdles in the winter, Al-Azi.
Yeah. Could
They're
finish up like
selling.
Archibald, though. That's the only danger.
You might see him at the sales.
The new Archibald. The new Archibald.
Absolutely, yeah. I wonder if Mr. Mullins and Harold Kirk are going to hover over that one. Oh,
Like, 3 to 1
Al
for the
Ozzy, poor old
champion
Al
hurdle,
Ozzy.
is that?
Yeah, exactly. Fox's Tail, still a young horse going places. Look, he's come up against the Iron Horse.
Well did he Fox's Tails. Brilliant one.
Yeah, great run from Fox's Tails, but I just felt in the last furlong he wasn't going anywhere, and I was like, oh, he's not going away, he's not going anywhere, and if something did come, they were going to do him. I don't really think he's seen out the trip strongly enough to win the race.
He's proved himself a proper 110 horse, though, hasn't he? Because, of course, he's getting £3 from Illarab, who's bounced right back. He would be your benchmark for the race, I guess. He had absolutely every chance, didn't he? Shown himself to be a brave Group 3 horse as well. And Ad Infinitum just totally outclassed. Solid Stone. Then look, this is why people love the jumps, isn't it? These horses, they stay in training. You get to know plenty about them. I was gutted in the Wolverton, was it he ran in? When he
third, wasn't he?
He only came third.
Behind
He
Juan
came
Elcano,
back that
wasn't
day.
it?
It was behind Juan Elcano.
Look how they've gone different directions.
Different trajectory, but I thought that day, and hopefully I think I'm right, that he does like a bit of cut, this chap. You watch back that Windsor run, he looked beat, keeps finding. I couldn't believe the price today when I was looking at him thinking, what is he over the top or something? I just couldn't really get it. And behind Real World, that would be a boost for him as well in Champion Stakes, wouldn't it? Because he could not get near him at Newbury over a mile to that horse as well. So only 5 runners, but what a cracker it was. Al Azi. Ooh, I can smell the fingers being burnt from here, can't you? All right, it's Halla Halla time. I'm delighted to tell you as we say goodbye to Newbury for now. We've got 2 more to come your way from there. Really good handicap at 3.25. And, of course, the Mill Reeve Stakes, 2-year-old shining over 6 furlongs at 4 o'clock. However, it's back up to the Western meeting. So I might say the race of the day. It is the Firth of Clyde. Now, in the week, Barry, lots of firms when they run about 7, 8 to 1, they weren't sure what to do with Halla Halla Athmani. The market has only gone one way with her.
Yeah, I think we introduced her. We put her in at 13 to 2. Headmistress Jared Lyons filly was our favourite at 7 to 2. In the market now, the Betfair Exchange market, 4.4 Headmistress. So she's gone favourite again. Jared Lyons filly that he's travelled over. Halla Halla 5.168. Scott's Grace. Hello, my darling 8, and it's 15 bar. Canonized 15. Yeah, I've spoken about her earlier. I just thought she looked really smart that day in Carlisle when she won. They pulled well clear, or she pulled well clear. She went off 11 to 8 favourite. She's won 5.5 lengths. She's a half sister to Hello Usamane, a Grade 1 winner. The form's not that good, obviously. She's beaten a horse only rated 71. The third's been beaten in the novice event since. So form's not up to much. But these fillies can take a massive step forward from their first run to their second. And also, she went off 11 to 8 favourite. So she showed them all the right signs at home as well. Yeah, so I'm keen to be with her. Please, G-Rod. And we're just going to back her straight up in the win market. We're going to have 50 quid win on her. And happy to make a price here. Looking to back her at about 5.2. Because I think that there's money's going to come for Jared Lyons filly now, and Halla Halla might just drift out a little. So 5.2, and we're hoping someone will come in and lay us that bet. We'll just keep a watch and brief on it for now. But Jared Lyons filly, a really, really nice horse. She gets motoring in the last furlong. She has so far over 5, so she's really ready for the step up to 6. But he's not mad about travelling. This horse is owned by Brian Gleeson. He does a bit of work over here for RTTV and a bit in the UK as well for ITV. But yeah, they're travelling. I'm not sure about Jers, especially these young fillies when he travels.
No, that's interesting, Barry. I'll stick with you on this. He had some weekend last weekend, didn't he? And I think about 5 or 6 years ago, we got used to Jer bringing horses over. Obviously, Shishkin didn't go at all well, did it, in the middle part? And his actual British stats are thin on the ground now. Obviously, Geometric was third. His runner on in the 5 furlong 2-year-old race yesterday. I'll tell you what, for the power that he's got to put it up to well, I suppose a Ballydoyle like he does, it's some operation. We had Adam Ryan, as you well know, Barry on the panel last week. He was utterly singing his praises. He said, for what that guy's doing, he doesn't get enough praise. If you see a Jer 2-year-old up against, a Ballydoyle that cost whatever, or as a Galileo or whatever they are, the market often comes from him, and he often turns them over, doesn't he? He's an absolute genius of a trainer.
Yeah, he's a very, very good trainer, and he's a great team around him. His brother is an integral part of the operation, and he's got 3 or 4 guys that he's involved with that buy the horses, and they move them on when they get to a certain level. So, it's a very, very well-oiled operation. It hasn't happened overnight either. He's a long time at the game, and every success he gets, he deserves. He's such a hard worker, but it's something in recent years, and he's been quite vocal about it. He doesn't like travelling horses to the UK, and if he can get away without doing it, he won't do it. But obviously the owners must have been quite keen to come here for this meeting because there's a nice 10 grand bonus as well, I think. So it's good prize money. And they were keen to come, so he's not going to step in the way of the owners. But if he had his way, if it was up to him, I don't think that Billy would be here.
All right, headmistress then, yet to run over the 6 furlongs, but looked like she wanted it last time. She's on a hat-trick, 2 from 2. She's in stall 1 on the far side, but gee, this is Hala Hala time.
It's Hala Hala time.
It's Hala Hala time. Absolutely. We thought we could hear him from the train station at Waterloo walking down Hala Hala. Absolutely. There was a riot van outside at one point and everything. But we will be righteous if this wins. We saw this in the week, didn't we? You timed the final. I put you onto it, by the way.
You did.
After Adam put me onto it, but I saw her on her debut at Carlisle. The money came for her. She missed the break slightly. But the only worry I've got is just one filly in the last 10 years to take it with a maiden or a novice win next to the name. It's a completely different test, wide open expanse of the Western course.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain she's the best horse in this race, Hala Hala Afmani. The only worry is she's facing more experienced, battle-hardened rivals in a different type of the race to the one that she won at Carlisle, and she's inexperienced.
You think she's a Group 1 horse?
I think that she could be a Group 1 horse, judging on what we saw at Carlisle. You put me onto her. You sent me that text and said, have you seen this Kevin Ryan juvenile Hala Hala Afmani? And I was like, no. And I went on to the Racing Post website, put the video up, and watched the last 3 furlongs. I was like, Hala Hala, this is amazing. And I thought, oh, yeah, this looks like a really good horse. And so just to confirm my impression with the visuals, I timed the last 3 furlongs at that race, and I timed the last 3 furlongs at 35 seconds 8.81. So that's just under 12-second furlongs. That doesn't sound amazing, but of course Carlisle is like that. Yeah. The last 3 furlongs of Carlisle are pretty much all the way uphill, and of course she's a juvenile filly, so that is really, really good sectionals for the last 3 furlongs of Carlisle, and let's hope she can go on and confirm that amazing impression that she gave us at Carlisle. We spoke to Ed Bethel. He said he thought he'd seen a Group 1 winner. I think I've seen the Group 1 winner. So Hala Hala, come on.
Hala Hala for us, absolutely. Hello Yumzane also won at Carlisle. She got a bigger figure than he did as well, didn't she, when he won on his debut?
Yes.
All bodes well.
Hello Zane won on his debut at Carlisle, same track. Yeah. This is a half-sister to Hello Yumzane. Hello Yumzane got a Racing Post rating of 86 first time out. Hala Hala, 90.
You told Adam Ryan that Hello Yumzane famously last year wasn't that good, and yet you're hoping that the sister will be a little bit better. Where's Enns going on this? Has he taught you into this one?
Oh, I don't know. I think she's not much price. I think she should. The value's probably gone out of her now. There's one I quite liked at a price here, Dave. Actually, a horse called Rish's Bar. I don't know if you saw that win at Haydock. Slowly away. Beat a horse called Vertiginous who came out and won the Harry Rosebery yesterday. So that's a big boost. That's a listed race.
Yeah, hosed up, didn't it?
Yeah, so that form's good, isn't it? To beat that horse who'd ran well at Royal Ascot before Vertiginous and looked the best maiden in training, I think, prior to yesterday.
This is David O'Mara and Jason Watson.
Watson. Yeah, I'm going to have a little bit each way on this one. Rish's Bar. Not sure whether to go in the place market or maybe a bit of win and place, but I just think maybe it's just a straightforward each way play on Rish's Bar for me. I think she'll be there or thereabouts. I did like Gerline's horse when I looked at it, but then Barry's kind of talked about the non-travelling bit, and that's kind of stuck in my mind now. So I've gone off a little bit lukewarm on Headmistress now. The other one I quite like was Scott's Grace. I saw the Kempton win. Looked really good, didn't she, at Kempton?
Yeah, we covered that Enns, and I put her up that day, and she was the meat in the sandwich, wasn't she? But I just wonder whether she's that sort of polytrack sort of horse, really. It's the first one on turf, of course. She's won Memmas, we'll find out.
Yeah, I think she'll be all right.
Kevin Philippart de Foy has a name, isn't it?
It's a hell of a name.
That is a name, and he's making a name for himself as well.
He's doing well.
With the musket on board, telling him to
Very
blow
good
them
job. He's
away.
had a good season, Danny Musket. He's riding really well, I think.
Yeah, he has.
Chances. But no, I'll go each way on Rish's Bar here.
All right then.
12.
Okay, all right, there you've got it, the Firth of Clyde. Never has the Firth of Clyde been so anticipated at the Racing Post Towers, I can tell you that much. We think we might see something special. If you're wondering why Hello Yumze sister Hala Hala Athmani is not in the Cheveley Park, of course, which is natural stepping stones to this Group 1 company. They don't think she'll handle the track, the famous dip there at Newmarket. She is a big girl, which you're about to find out. The sun burning down at the Western meeting up there.
She's a power performer, this one, Hala Hala. When she went through that race at Carlisle, the last furlong, she was powering up it, wasn't she?
Do you know what I also love about this, G? She's in stall 6, and in stall 3 is Sadma, the daughter of Frankel, who herself is useful, to say the least. And Tom Eves rides this. Please just set a nice pace. I hope they've worked at home. I haven't actually asked Adam.
She is going to need to improve, of course, Dave.
He did say to me on the phone yesterday, Adam Ryan, he said, Kevin was always going to go and ride Jabba's filly. up at Ayr, because of course they've got Giss a Sub in the
Gives a Sub was second in the gym crack, wasn't
strongly fancy it today as well, Giss a Sub.
And Kevin Stott's here to ride Hala Hala Athmani.
Have you ever been so excited about a 2-year-old?
This is certainly the most excited I've been about a 2-year-old
You
for
don't
quite
really
some
strike
time.
me as a 2-year-old punter much, really.
Not really, no. I tend to focus my attentions on handicaps. But
I tell you what, if this blows up in our faces, this one, and the only worry is the experience, isn't it? When you've got the open expanse, where does she go? Hopefully Sadmar will go on. That's what we're hoping, and take a lead. Is that the inexperience? If this blows up, I will get the blame for this. Rodway's quite happy to just go, I should never have picked up my phone to you whatsoever. The pace in this race ends. Canonised, of course, who's danced a lot of dances.
She's been busy. She looked good start the season, didn't she? She's been busy, though, isn't she? I can't quite see her being good enough to win it. I don't think she'll be far away. Mistress probably will show some speed towards that far side rails. Yeah. Sadmar as well. Towards the stand, I mean, they're not probably going to split, are they? But there could be pace out a bit wider from Hello My Darling as well. I think she won't be that far away.
What will be interesting for the 340, the Ayr Gold Cup, of course, the showpiece in this race, they do usually historically tend to come up the middle in this. If they make a beeline for that low far rail, it will tell a big tale about what's coming up at 340.
Yeah, and obviously in this race as well, Headmistress, the big danger to Hala Hala, is drawn in stall 1. So it'll be very interesting to see.
Don't forget, you've got to do a victory dance. Chris Hall said you've got to be doing a victory dance if it comes up. So
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No. Quite. Absolutely. All right, Barry, they're going in. Final market moves. Definitely now Headmistress. Is it the fav?
Yeah, 3-9 Headmistress, 4-8 Hala Hala, Scots Grace 8-2, 8 Hello My Darling, and it's 12 Canonised. But yeah, the draw has to be a bit of a concern as well, because if it just misses at a little Headmistress, I think they're all going to congregate over on that far rail. And I think that's going to have to come around all the horses. But it'd be interesting to see.
Oh, right. This is exciting, isn't it? Okay. Just to let you know, after this, of course, we've got the Dubai Duty Free Handicap, 325. Could we see a springer for the Cambridge here next week? We'll be going to Newmarket for that. But right now, it's the Firth of Clyde. Over to Enzo.
Here we go. 6 furlongs there for the fillies. Group 3, it is the Firth of Clyde Stakes without Crazy Land. So we have 14 runners and they break away. Favourite on the far side, Headmistress broke quite well. Sadmar's up there as well. Just dropping in behind is Scots Grace. More towards the centre is Snooze and You Lose. They're going to head, I think, towards maybe almost 2 groups. The other group led by Nazanin, Holly Doyle and Dark Green. So almost a little split between those two. Misty Air is the break-off point. The group of 5 going towards the middle. Far side, they're being led still. Thereby, Sadmar is up there with the pace. Also,
this is what we wanted to see.
In second. Where is Hala Hala? Back in the
fifth
place.
Gee, what do you reckon of Big Keen?
Come on, we're going well, I think. Dave.
Hala Hala!
Well, come on, Hala!
Yeah, she's going best, I think, at the moment.
Come on, Hala!
Oh, she's gone low, hasn't she? Come on, Hala! This is what we wanted to see.
Come on, Hala!
Canonised also going well. Who else is there? The Fab looks beaten.
Still there. Canonised is
Canonised is the danger.
Mistress is coming with a run. This is wide open.
Hala Hala! Lighting up.
Nazanin's in front.
She's
Doyle's got it.
Come on, Hala!
Hala Hala.
Come on, Stotty. Here comes the Fab.
Nazanin, Headmistress is next.
Green.
I still think Holly Doyle's right up there. Canonised is coming.
Come on, Hala! Come on, Hala Hala!
Canonised from Hala Hala.
We're going to be done.
Canonised just in front. It's William Haggis again. It's canonised again.
Oh.
Canonised wins. Hala Hala Athmani. Maybe not. It's Nazanin has come back. Stand side. Nazanin and canonised.
Oh.
Photo.
The near side's won it.
I think she's come back as Holly Doyle. Looked as if canonised had it, but I think Holly's come back as that must have been a 101 loser, surely.
Once again, pandemonium at Ayr here in the studio. Barry, it looks like she's got up. Does she down the centre?
Holly's won it.
Yeah, I think it's a photo. Is it officially a photo?
Officially a photo.
101 lay only that Nazanin has won on the Betfair Exchange at the moment.
Incredible.
Matched at a high of 24 quid at 110. Going through the rest of them then. Headmistress was matched at a low of 2.8. Never really threatened. Hala Hala looked the winner a low of 1.69, which is 8 to 11. Canonised hit a low of 101. Yeah, bang on Enzo for 12,672 quid.
Jeez. I thought here
the winner's
come
from
won
the
it.
clouds.
Yeah, it has. Barry, did you put this up on its second start? Something tells me I recognise this name.
Won at Newbury, quite impressive first
On
time.
Zane Claudette at Ascot. Do you remember? I think you put this up, Barry, did I'm almost sure you did. Nazanin.
Doyle.
That day. And she just looked like she found
I put it up in... Did I put it up in York?
It might have been. I thought it was Ascot on the second start you put it up. Definitely it's a name that we know. Do you think
it wasn't
that
the louder? No, it wasn't the louder. Yeah, I put it up in you're bang on. I put it up that day in Ascot where Zane Claudette won the race.
That's a boost for her, isn't it? Do you think that she has benefited, Barry, from 3 horses beating each other up from some way out and just come over the top?
They got at it very early.
Yeah,
didn't
racing
they?
too early, weren't they? Well, the 2.5 down, they're flat out. What's going on there?
It's cost Hala Hala,
Pressing
hasn't it?
all the buttons, 2.5 out.
Definitely cost Hala Hala.
I think it's a bit disappointing, isn't it, to be beaten by Nazanin and Canonised horses who were really kind of exposed juveniles. You know, the real potential star in the race was Hala Hala or of course the Full Force Headmistress.
I'm almost certain that the
Could he
best
not be a
horse
bit more patient there, Kevin
Hala
Scott,
Hala.
shouldn't he?
Well,
I think if he'd have counted to 5, maybe 2.5 out instead of going.
do you know what? She was quite keen, Hala Hala. Sadma did what we thought Sadma would do, and he tried to take aim. And the Headmistress got in front of him, and he panicked a little bit, I think, because she was a bit keen, and he's let her go. But she has run very green.
Be very interesting to time her last 3 furlongs there at Ayr and see how
Quickened, didn't she, like a proper horse? She's massive as well, isn't she? We're not lying about that. She's absolutely.
Oh yeah, she's
They'll put her away now, I'm pretty sure, guys, and we will hopefully, with a winter on her back, we'll see a
quite
proper
interesting,
sprint
Dave,
next
that the
year.
winner, Holly Doyle, on the winner, I think, isn't she? And she's come up the middle.
Yes.
And of course, everything else has gone to the far side, and she's ended up.
She led that
coming
little
outside.
group of 5. 5 of them stayed towards the middle, and she led that group.
Canonised looks certain to be the
Thought he'd
rail
won it,
winner
yeah.
again,
It
didn't
looked
it?
like he'd won it. About 100 yards out, I'm convinced he was going to win.
Oh.
She was going to win, but just got caught.
Yeah, there you are then. All right, pick yourselves back up. Hala Hala. Hope you got 4 places, by the way. I think we might have.
She was third, wasn't she?
Yeah,
I
she was
think.
third.
Hala
She's third
Hala.
in the end.
So
All right.
You're fine.
Okay, she's run a massive race, and the Ryans have got a lovely filly going forward. But well done if you stuck with Holly. We wondered why she was up there. A lot of people think it was the Ayr Gold Cup, but this is her retain.
But she had to go, didn't she, for Imad? When Imad speaks, she has to go.
Nazanin, Archie Watson then have got a good filly. Will we be seeing her at Newmarket at Future Champions Day? A little bit later on, you'll find out in your members section. David Carr, Broadband he's known as here at the Racing Post, G, isn't he? Because he's just so quick with everything he does. No one's quicker at sending any work than David Carr. Broadband will be giving you the quotes. Canonised. Good run that really, because she's been on. I mean, she must have made her debut
Does
early
that put a
season.
question mark over the form, though, the fact she was so close?
I don't know. I think that certainly her experience counted for a lot there because she was one of the last of the bridle. Certainly inexperience has cost Hala. That was the worry there. And Headmistress run a big race, I think.
yeah, I think that we've still seen a good horse.
Yeah.
You know, in Hala Hala Afmani, she's improved on what she did first time out, but not enough.
Yeah, just went a bit too soon. I've got no problems with Kevin Stott doing that. You'd rather see a jockey doing that, wouldn't you? I think than believing you're on. And,
Well,
gave it-
and let's not forget that she powered up the hill at Carlisle, so he would have been thinking this horse finishes.
This is going away. Yeah, all right, okay. So it just shows you. I did say before the race, my slight worry was that one next to the name, only one filly had done it in the previous 10 years, and experience counts for everything, doesn't it? Okay, we must go back down to Newbury now. Really attractive handicap. This has been won by some very talented horses in recent years, Barry. There you can see the Betfair SP of Nazanin, a bit shorter than I might have expected there. Some of you went in because we've got Aramake here, who won at York, Barry. He looks the part as well. Some big hitters have already gone on in the week for Mr. Haggis.
Yeah, I got £7 for that win. Some people seem to think it was lenient. I suppose the thing to remember in this race, Dave, is it's a £5 weight for age, and the 3-year-olds dominating the betting. The 3-year-olds are first, second, third, and fourth favourite. Armac 4-1. King of Clubs is 6, 7-4 Indes yet. Mosas is 9-6. 8-8 King of Leonidas, who obviously he's on a bit of a recovery mission. I'd say he's bags of talent, but whether he shows it here or not after 457 days off remains to be seen. But 3-year-olds look like they're holding sway. And Injazati is the one that I like in it. Charlie Fellows, Callum Shepherd. And we're going to back him, please, G-Rod. And we're just going to back him win in place. We're going to have 25 quid on the win and 25 quid in the place. Just the standard 3 place markets as well. And again, it's happy to be a price taker here at 7-4. He won a mile 2. Newcastle handicap off 85 last day. He got the run of the race in front. And the time before that, he won a novice race. He's an improving 3-year-old, as you could say about all these. And they're getting that £5 weight for age as well, which I think swings it for me. But Aramac is one that's been really popular all morning, and I'm having problems pronouncing that.
I'm glad you're saying these, Barry. I'll tell you
what.
what. We're sitting here going, oh, that's got that one out of the way. That's got that one out of the way. Aramake, I think we'll have to call him.
Yeah.
Injazati was a tricky one to say as well. We've got Moasis is in this. King Leonidas. We've got Dawam.
would you?
No, definitely not. Can I just stick with you, Barry? Something that's quite interesting. I mentioned that this race is often a precursor for the Cambridgeshire horses that are trying to get a penalty to get into it. You see them; they used to back up. It's not so much something that you see all the time these days. King Leonidas isn't in the Cambridgeshire. But do you remember a couple of weeks back, Barry, you had an anti-post poke, didn't you? Of course, at the Cambridgeshire. He was running, I believe, at Goodwood. The horse was called Al Rafah. He was slightly eye-catching. Now, he turned up at Sandown. Was it last week? He's pretty unlucky not to win that. I reckon you are on a buzzer at a price if he goes next week.
Yeah, well, I think we backed him at 40. I backed him for the charity bet as well. I backed him myself even when he got beat that day. Yeah, he's ran a cracker last day as well. Wasn't it Sandown?
Yeah. Something went miles clear, didn't it, and hung on. And he absolutely flew through the pack. That's back to the horse that they thought he was.
Yeah, it looks like it, fingers crossed. But this King Leonidas is an interesting proposition as well, I suppose. He was beaten in the Jersey. I think he was sent off favourite in the Jersey, was he?
Yeah.
And obviously he's bags of talent that they've persisted with him. Be interesting to see how he gets on. But the 3-year-olds looking like they're holding sway here, according to the betting.
Yes, OK. Which 3-year-olds do you like out there? We're around about 10 minutes away from the race. Get your socials in for this. We can hear lots of you out there was on Solid Stone by the looks of it. Happy days on that. And, of course, no doubt some of you went for Holly as well. It's great to have you with us this afternoon on RPL Live. Myself, Dave Orton, Tony Shriff Ennis, G. Shriff Rodway, and the big hitter himself, Barry Orr. We're having a great afternoon. We are getting towards the business end of the show. We've got an hour left, basically. This is a cracker, isn't it? Are you with Aramaic or not? I am.
Yeah, I am. I commentated on the race. That's the key race for this, the Mo SS race at Kempton. The Mo SS won. Aramaic was seconded. They fancied Aramaic before that race to run well, and kind of the secret was out after that run when he finished second. Then he went up to Musselburgh, didn't he, and won a race that he couldn't really lose.
Yes.
And then he won again next time out. I did say at the time, I thought that if he met Mo SS again, he'd beat him next time if they met again. And I've got the chance to get that proven right here. Look, I like Mo SS. I really like his attitude. You couldn't completely rule him out from winning again. He's been running really well, isn't he, this horse for Godolphin. But I think Aramaic, he might just be able to reverse that Kempton form now, Dave, with Mo SS. But there's loads of other angles in this race, isn't there? King Leonidas is fascinating. Injazati, a horse that Barry mentioned as well. You've got some real old favourites like Sam Cook and Pivowan in the race as well. Pivowan's out of the race now, isn't he? But Sam Cook's still in the race. He's a real old favourite of mine. But I'm going to go Aramaic. I think he's the improver. William Haggis, good day so far. Hurricane Ivor won. Canonised almost won. And Ilarab ran well.
You've missed Al-Arzi off that list.
Deliberately.
Hurricane Ivor, by the way, Maureen Haggis says might be going for the Abbaye next. So back to France.
Wow.
Might be going there. Straightforward, nice horse.
Isn't it?
Is getting quicker as he goes. Yeah, Aramaic. I'm just trying to check Mr. Haggis's record in this. He had 7 runners in it. Of course, he won it last year with Ilarab, absolutely. So I had a short list of 4. He was at the top of it. King of Clubs was there. Injazati was also on it for Barry. And the other one, Graeme Rodway, who I thought ran pretty well at Doncaster last time, is Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, that's my selection here, Dave. Straits of Hormuz. Yeah, ran very well off a sort of weird pace at Donny last time. The first 3 were all up there the whole way, and I don't think they went that hard. It got muddling in tactical. That doesn't really suit Strait of Hormuz. And then he came home and finished 4th. I thought it was quite an eye-catching performance. He's really well handicapped on his best form, and I just think this race might pan out a bit better for him. And we've got Andrea Zeni taking over from Thor Hammer Hansen.
Yes,
saddle, which
he needs a pace, doesn't he? Basically,
yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, but this round track at Newbury tends to over these sorts of distances does tend to play into the hands of those who come from off the pace. And
the horse that won that race at Doncaster, Anmar, he's a big player, I think, in the Cambridgeshire. So if you know this, it is the cavalry charge. That's the highlight of next Saturday's show. Could get a big boost.
My worry with your one, Dave, Aramaic, is that
Yes.
I was quite strong on Regal Mirage the other day at Pontefract, and Regal Mirage was 3rd behind Aramaic. And
You shouldn't worry about that.
it was disappointing.
Covered that race for our analysis department. It was a funny race. Leaders kicked on. He was far too
and then he stayed on, didn't he?
way off the
To
pace.
3rd.
No chance. Actually, not a bad run at all. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Pivowan, of course, reopposes as well.
Oh, he's out now, Pivowan. He's been scratched. I'm worried about King of Clubs, though, with David Probert riding for Huey Morrison. He's the big danger for me, having won last time out. He was strong in the betting as well this morning. He looks
What's
another
it like?
3-year-old.
What is it like when you don't tip Probert horse and they go
Wins
and win?
usually.
Is that awful?
It's
Have
awful.
you been chinned by Probes?
I have. He's beaten me once or twice.
You've
with
been
pain.
probed by the great man
Just think,
himself.
why? Never take him on. But I'm taking him on here, which is crazy, isn't it? But I just like Aramaic so much.
Yeah.
That I've got to stick with him. But King of Clubs, he's quite tough as well, isn't he? Won at Sandown. He's a nice horse, this fella. Typical Hughie Morrison, progressive, strong, staying 3-year-old. I think he's a real nice horse, but I'm just hoping Aramaic's got a bit more class. But I think it's between those two. I can't see outside those two.
Marvellous. All right. Really enjoying this afternoon here. And this is going to be an absolute cracker. Are we looking at a group horse, of course, in Aramaic? King of Clubs was not far behind Fox's Tails, was he, as well? So I wouldn't say that form's been harmed either. And G's going for the 4-year-old as well. All right, Barry, we've got about 6 minutes to go. I was told that some big hitters had already got involved when the anti-post market got up by a couple of bookmakers on this Aramaic. Barry, what price do you think he'll go off? What, around about 5 to 2-ish?
Yeah, currently around the 11 to 4 mark. It's quite a mature market now, Dave, so I can't see it getting much shorter than that, really. King of Clubs is 6, Injazati is 7-2, 8-8 King Leonidas, and it's 8-8 Bar. So Sam Cook is one that would have a bit of a chance as well, no?
Oh, blimey. Talk about characters.
He's been hard to catch, right, isn't he?
Nutcase, isn't he?
Nutcase, yeah. Throne Hall.
Talented.
Yeah, OK, let's get some socials up because I've got a feeling that might come into it somewhere along the line. Mally Draycott comes back on. You're having a good afternoon, Mally. You were on the stone, weren't you? Can't see past Aramaic if this is still improving. Yeah. I'm with you. Absolutely, all the way. Looks the part as well. Chris Timms, great to have you back. King of Clubs for me in the next. And Hughie Morrison, of course, won this race before. Could he be the next group horse for Hughie graduating to handicaps? Of course, Ebor winning trainer and Neil Francis. Neil, welcome aboard to the party this afternoon. Sam Cook, each way dropping in trip, which should help him. Adam Ryan, of course, assistant to his dad Kevin, was sitting on this panel last week when Throne Hall ran. The draw beat him at Chester, but he said, I can't believe we got beaten by Sam Cook.
The draw beat him. No, the draw did not beat that horse. That horse is a weird horse.
You didn't say that when he was sitting here.
I did. I told him he ran a stinker.
Go back and check last week's show. I'm pretty sure you were kinder to him this time. No. He was anyway. Throne Hall didn't really turn up, but he was gutted, wasn't he? That they fancied him strong at the Ebor meeting, and they thought we've got them all covered. Sam Cook just doesn't win. And he finally put his head down.
Throne Hall was one of the disappointments of the season for me so far because I thought that he had that race at York won. It was this kind of solid stone kind of performance in that he was up there the whole way and he was beating one after the other and he was coming back, beating them all, and then suddenly Sam Cook just did him at the end. And
his problem has just been running with the choke out, as we say.
Sam Cook is that sort of horse. He needs to be delivered. He needs... he's like, you love saying this, he needs everything to drop right.
Full right in his races.
Yeah, and
I do inverted commas when I do it. Yeah, he does. He needs absolutely everything to fall right. So basically to go his way. A little bit like Al-Aza, you might say. But I remember interviewing Sean Levy before he rode him at the Shergold Cup meeting. And he said, I've never been into Rafe Beckett's in 15 years of living 5 minutes down the road. They got him in to ride him before the Shergold Cup. And he said that's an indication of how much they fancied him, really. He just needs them to go hard up front. Who does lead in this, guys? Who are you expecting, Enzo, to be calling as one of the early pace markers?
I'm wondering how they're going to ride King Leonidas after this long layoff. He looked a bit free going to post.
He's a great big chap. King Leonidas.
There we go.
We're just hearing that from Rob Lee is telling the top course commentator how to pronounce horses. It shows what sort of afternoon you've had.
King Leonidas, is that what it is officially?
King Leonidas, yeah.
King Leonidas.
Who was King Leonidas?
Rob will know, he knows everything.
I can hear the Google.
Das or Dad?
That's who, Barry?
Is it Das or Dad? Leonidas, Das or Leonidad? Someone's come on to and said that I'm pronouncing it wrongly. That's Dad, Leonidad.
Leonidad.
That's Das.
I'll tell you, whoever that is, they need to step away from the bar. I can tell you that much. King Leonidas. Yeah, you're right. He hasn't been seen, has he, since that Jersey run?
Yeah, and I think he was a bit fresh going down. I wonder if he might make the running, possibly. Could do. There's not a lot of confirmed frontrunners in this, though.
Did you see in the Aramaic colours yesterday the horse run at Kempton last night?
No.
Holding.
Yes, won by about 90 lengths.
What is this they've got? That's a Gosden filly. Check it out. For
third
holding last night. Won at Lingfield by 10.
Yeah.
Beating an all right horse.
I remember its debut at Kempton as well when she was down the field.
It was drawn in the car park last night.
Yeah. She won by about 90 lengths.
That's a group horse, isn't it? Without question.
It's not embarrassing. Best we've seen.
Was it a novice race, wasn't it? Blown the handicap.
The stout horse was fancy to finish third as well.
These are interesting colours is where I'm going with this.
Oh, the Sheikh Issa, yeah. Sheikh Issa Salman, based over in Bahrain.
Have you been over to his place?
I have been to his palace, yes.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, when I went to Bahrain to call the King's Cup, I met him.
I can't believe it's been such a long time since you mentioned that Bahrain trip. You went to Forzine Asses, didn't you?
Yeah,
the banquet of banquets at Forzine Asses. They carried you out, didn't they?
The party was at Forzine Asses, yeah. I would be welcome back there, I don't think. Yeah.
The Bahrain gig, is that some gig, that is?
It was good fun, actually, yeah. And, people looked after me really well. Neil Mackenzie Ross used to be clerk of the course, of course, over at Lingfield for many years. He does all the good work at the track there.
It's a good gig, isn't it?
Yeah, it was good fun. I'd love to go back again.
What do we make of the two art chaps leaving this week? Well, yeah, it's if they're watching. Though. He only says it in case he thinks they are. He'll be like, did you social the clip that? Did we get that on Twitter by any chance? They're going in, by the way. What do we make of...
James Armstrong and Roderick Duncan.
Big hitters.
They're staying around
Clerk
for
of the
not
courses.
going yet. It's going to be next year before they go, but they're two of the top men, aren't they?
See, David Carr suggested Simon Clace might not be done with it. He might be going to one of those.
I can't see that.
Madness.
I think that was just,
Tongue-in-cheek, is
having
it?
a tongue-in-cheek, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was his suggestion.
David Carr being tongue-in-cheek is not often the sort of thing. He's not really, the Racing Writer of the Year, of course. But it's been a big week, isn't it? But James Armstrong, of course, 20 years, is, they're going to be hard to replace, G, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But there are, a bunch of young, up-and-coming clerks who, they need these chances. Otherwise, they're not going to learn, are they?
Yeah, fair enough. But they would be the big northern tracks for ARC, wouldn't they? Okay.
Here we go.
All right, then. Good luck wherever you're playing. It's the 325. Will Aramake prove himself to be a group horse, or will it be something more hardened? Good luck.
The Dubai duty-free handicap over 10 furlongs is underway. A little bit slow as Dawam was a step slow. King Leonidas is being dropped in, so he's not going to make the running. Fair Stars up there pressing for the lead with Mo SS, and also handy is Injazati. Injazati's going to lead Mo SS and Fair Star. They've gone on. In behind them, we have Aramaic, who's racing in 4th place. Then a couple of lengths further back to find Strait of Hormuz, who's up on the outside of King of Clubs. Then comes Sam Cook, he's normally held up. King Leonidas is towards the back of the field, and Dawam, after missing the kick, is the back marker for Jim Crowley. Injazati sets us modest early pace by the looks of things. Leads by a length on the tail at the moment to in 2nd place Fair Star, with back in 3rd the Godolphin runner Mo Assess. The favourites in 4th, Aramaic. He is ahead of Strait of Hormuz, who's racing back in 5th. In 6th, it's King of Clubs under David Probert. To the outside, further measure I didn't mention. Then comes Sam Cook, and the back two, King Leonidas, and also Dawam early on.
Let's go to Barry, because Injazati's your pick. Barry's in the lucky 15 as well. He did this at Newcastle last time. You're happy to see him out front?
Yeah, he's setting modest enough fractions, really, isn't he? He's not doing anything too mad. He's 7.2, though. He hasn't come in 3.35 Animac, 5.7 King of Clubs, 8.8 or 9 King Lena is 8.4.
King Leonidas, yeah. He's
Whatever he's called, the
Leonidas.
Gosman horse is there. All right, they're revving up there. I'll tell you what, G, Aramake, you can see why people... He looks like a bull, doesn't
Yeah, he's really travelling, isn't he? I think they've gone quite slower, and they're starting to quicken it up now, Dave, aren't they? Really going for it.
Pole position, King of Clubs off it, then ends.
King of Clubs ridden along. Sam Cook's
Sam
got
Cook.
in behind them. Near side Fair Star, but I'll tell you what, Injazati's still got the lead. Mo Assess in 2nd. Aramake's got to try and quicken off
bit
his
green,
steady
isn't he?
tempo. In behind them, Sam Cook, King of Clubs, not today. Then Fair Star and King Leonidas is staying on far side. Still Injazati in front for Callum Shepherd. Leads a length clear. He's quickened off the steady tempo here. He's got them in trouble. Mo Assess giving chase. Aramake.
He has got them in trouble.
Into 3rd. Then comes
There's
Sam
the 101,
Cook,
Barry.
but it's still Injazati. He's not going to get caught now, is he? For Charlie
shout.
Fellows. What a good ride this was by Callum. Aramake staying on with Sam Cook, and King Leonidas is staying on well as well. But it goes to Injazati. Sam Cook 2nd. King Leonidas 3rd and 4th, Aramake.
Have we just seen another globe-trotting horse of the future for Charlie Fellows? Callum Shepherd got out in front, dictated it. He could do it on turf. He could do it on Tapeta. Barry, you must have been delighted. Great shout, man.
Good shout.
Yeah, he's given him a great ride, hasn't he? He did the same. He set steady fractions, and like Enzo said in his commentary, he's quickened off a modest sort of pace, and he's put them to the sword quite comfortably at the finish. The 3-year-olds, he finished the best of them, really, didn't he? Sam Cook has ran on well. He travelled really well into the race, Sam Cook, but I don't think he was ever getting to the winner. He traded at a low of 5 on the exchange. King Leonidas traded at a low of 6.8. He's probably won't come on considerably for that run.
Yeah.
Just waiting to see if there's any anti-post reaction to the winner. But yeah, he's done it well.
Yeah, big eye catcher, King Leonidas. We finally got his name right, didn't we? I think there. Sam Cook, of course, winner at the Ebor meeting, giving the form some subs. As Aramake, G, big green raw horse still. This is going to teach him plenty.
Yeah, I don't think they went hard enough for him, Dave. He looks like an horse who's a real strong galloper who's going to need a stronger pace to go out, I think.
Straits of Hormuz definitely didn't get his pace scenario. They tried to ride him a bit closer, didn't he? He needs the sort of concertina, as you might say. He's horse that comes over the top.
Yeah, that was a baffling run, Strait of Hormuz, because I thought it was going well turning in, and Atzini pressed the button, and Atzini just gave up very quickly as if he had nothing left in the tank. It was just a flat run.
What would you do with the winner? He's going to be a nice mile 4 horse for next year.
No, I think that the winner, there's plenty of reason to be positive about the first 3 home, really. The winner won well, didn't he? And we quite like Aramak's a good horse for the future. He's
definitely,
He's won
He might want a bit further as well, mightn't he? Definitely the eye catcher, King Leonidas there.
Yeah, another race, just no pace early on, though, isn't it? It's just happened so much.
That's happened a couple of times today at Newbury, hasn't it?
It's happened a lot the last few weeks, I think.
You shouldn't really be happening in fields, in double-figure fields, should it?
No.
Shouldn't really. A lot of people not happy about the field size at Catterick today. Did we need the meeting at Catterick? People have been saying to
It's
me.
a bit lost, isn't it? But it's going to happen next year more, isn't it? With the 6th Saturday. How do you stand with the 6th Saturday?
10 minutes till the next one, then the big one, the Ayr Gold Cup. Let's talk about this fixture list then. Myself and G did this yesterday. You must be over the moon. More commentaries for you.
Opportunities, which has got to be
The
good.
Enzo treble, we'll have to call it. Do you reckon you could do a morning meeting, then an RP Live, and then go on to stateside as well?
Yeah, possible, isn't it?
Is there not a rule that you can't do 2 meetings like jockeys?
I hope they don't bring in that jockey's one meeting a day rule.
The one meeting rule. You've never heard about this.
The one shift a day rule doesn't stand, does it?
It could cause some problems though that next year, couldn't it? You know,
Where the jockey's going to come from for these 6 flat cards on a Saturday? Who are you going to have riding at meetings? There are enough horses to go round. It's going to be, you're going to have loads of 4 and 5 runner races, aren't you? It's going to be,
as we were saying yesterday, do you know anyone that says there's not enough racing? Agreed that now the BHA are pointing out that up to these new series will bring at least 65 grand.
Well, this is the point. All we hear all the time is the prize money isn't good enough. The prize money needs to get better. The prize money is poor. That is the number one complaint from trainers and owners in racing. The money doesn't grow on trees. If you want more money and more prize money, more racing has to happen. Now, what do you want? More racing or more money? You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, all right, okay. Barry, what did you make of this? 2022's coming up, more Sunday series and more Saturday racing.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for us, obviously. Like, I'm a spokesman for a betting organisation, and we have some input into it. And obviously, the way the levy is calculated at the moment would be reflected in the fixture list. But I don't know. There is a feeling that there is too much racing. There's just too much racing in the UK. In Ireland, we don't have the same problem. We don't have the same number of race meetings as they do in the UK. And I suppose the race courses have a lot of power in the UK, and their input is crucial into this as well. Obviously, like when you look at the amount of meetings on that Super Saturday in July, when we've got the Newmarket, or when we've the July Cup, and you've Chester, and you've all those other meetings on as well. Like it's a real drain on people, because people can't enjoy it. People can't, haven't got time to reflect on races and make picks for races that are coming up as well. So it is a real difficult thing. I don't know how do you rectify it. You just have to start from scratch and work on the calendar all over again. Is that going to happen? Is there enough, let's say, union within British racing to allow that happen? I don't think so. I think it's too fractured at the moment.
Mate, you're right, unfortunately.
Well, that is one of the problems about racing in general, is that it's just too fractured. There's too many different parts
Bodies.
pulling in different directions.
Race courses, BHA. It's like we need almost an independent body to just come and say, this is how it works. We've listened to everyone. We think it'll be right. The pandemic also gave us a chance, didn't it, with that wonderful Sunday racing we saw, because no one was going racing. ITV had this great appetite to put the better races to the Sunday, because more people would watch it. But now, we spoke to Ed Bethel yesterday about this. We got a piece in the paper with him about it. He was so vociferous about it, and he's basically said, I went to Haydock last Sunday, there's no one there. There's no one there. So it's just, it's like a Kempton on a Wednesday night. How much spectator appetite is there for Sunday racing? It's interesting. But look, they had an opportunity to shrink it and listen to what everyone said, and they've almost done the opposite. So anyway, look, there we are, a political word for you before the Ayr Gold Cup. Let's get back to business here then on Racing Post Live. 2 more races coming your way. 3 more, I should say. Of course, we've got 2 more. We've got the Mill Reef coming up at 4 o'clock. And of course, the 4:15. We go back to Ayr as well. My nap of the day runs in that pretty much. Solid Stone still absolutely delightful about that. Can I have another big shout here in the Ayr Gold Cup? First of all, let's find out what the big hitter himself likes in the showpiece.
Yeah, so Great Ambassador is your favourite at the moment at 4.2, Dave. You asked me after the Silver Cup, would that have any implication on the big race because of the draw? And obviously Great Ambassador has drawn 1. Well, it has. He's into 4.2 now, Great Ambassador. Comanche Falls is 10. Just Frank 10. 11.5 Popmaster. 12.5 Bielsa. 21, 5,000 to 1. Ostilio, there's been decent money for that. It is into 16. The horse I like in it is Bielsa. We were doing the show when he should have won that race in Haydock. He was drawn bad that day. He stepped up to 7 furlongs in the Buckingham Palace on firm ground. It was wrong. The ground was wrong for him. And then he was 6th in the Stewards Cup in Goodwood. Oisin Murphy made a very strange decision. He was drawn in the middle. He could have gone the stand side or he could have gone the far side. He elected to travel by himself up the middle of the track. And he wasn't helped in the closing stages by the favoured Great Ambassador, who came across him as well just in the closing stages. I think he could be due one of these. Kevin Sod is a fella that's done me a favour in a big sprint already this season on just another bottle. So 12.5, happy to be a backer at the price here. And I'm going to back him win only on the exchange. We're going to have 25 quid on him win only, please, G-Rod, because he'll either be there or thereabouts, or he'll either win, or I don't think he'll be there or thereabouts at all. So win only, Bielsa, and hopefully he can pop up and do us a favour.
Yeah, he's a 6-year-old. I think only one horse older than 6 has won this since the 80s or whatever. 6-year-olds can win it, though. And what a race he ran in it last year when we were both on him.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you put him up at Haydock in like a 3-runner race, and we actually went out for lunch with Aaron Ryan that day. That was when our sort of relationship began. He goes, he's had a wind up, I'm not sure he's on. And you're like, put him up 2 points, man. You know, you just don't know sometimes what the physicality of these horses is going to be. And then he went here and he ran an absolute blind on the wrong side of the track. I'm not with him this year. It's one of those, I've had to have a little bit on him because I just couldn't live with it if he won.
Well, it wouldn't entirely surprise me having seen Kevin Stott get beaten on Hulla Hulla to then go and see him win the big one on Bielsa without any of our money on him, Dave. But not for me again this year. I like Ostilio.
Now, we're going to need a bit of time for this because this is a mad theory, isn't it? This is he did just say Ostilio. Look at Enzo's face. It's like Tinto. Is he running in this race? He is. Paul Midgley. Whenever I see money for a Paul Midgley horse that looks like he's got some back class as in being well handicapped on his best form, it makes me shake a little bit. He's won already at the meeting this week. Where are we going with this?
Yeah, well, he's better than a lot of these on his best form, isn't he? And yet he's racing off a lot lower mark than he was racing off at his very best. Yeah. He's with a trainer who, well, we say it a lot, but these sort of sprint handicappers are Paul Midgley's
perfect for him,
drink, aren't they? And he's always looked like a horse who's got a lot of speed, hasn't he, Ostilio? I think he won over 7 furlongs at Royal Ascot when he blasted off and went at bonkers pace and kept going. But Paul Midgley's obviously decided he's going to turn him into a sprinter. He ran over 5 furlongs last time out in that race that Tis Marvellous won. Tis Marvellous ran quite well there at Newbury, so I think the form's all right. And he finished fastest of all in that race, over 5, stiff 5. I think 6 furlongs would be right up his street. And let's just hope he doesn't nutcase it, Dave.
Yes, when you see Ostilio not leading in a big sprint, you think, okay, is this, when's the day? So it is interesting. It was Simon Crisford he was with when he won as a 3-year-old. Well, this must be the day. I mean, this is got to be the day.
They must have had this under their hat for a while. Obviously, the Fav is going to be very difficult to beat. Because this could be the superstar in the race, the group class horse in the race, couldn't it? Great Ambassador. Yeah. He could be the one that goes on next year and turns into a real Group 1 contender if he goes on and wins this. So he was a real eye-catcher in the Stewards Cup, wasn't he? Do you remember? He blasted out and you thought, Great Ambassador's going to win. He blasted clear, what looked like he was clear, and then he got sort of run down near the line in the Stewards Cup. Maybe he was on the wrong side of the track, but he's won twice since, including in listed company. He's carrying a £5 penalty, isn't he? But he's the right favourite. He's going to be hard to beat, but he's short, isn't he?
Yes, he just behind him, 2 places behind him at York last time was 5,000 to 1. I put that up yesterday. Tom Segal put it up yesterday. You ran into the office this morning saying I've got to be with this. Why?
He cost a lot of money as a juvenile. I remember on his debut at Windsor, and he
won in the Mill Reef last year on this.
He did. He was really green on his debut. He got beaten by a Crisford horse that's quite decent first time out. He looked an absolute monster though beforehand. I thought, wow, this is going to be a proper horse. Hasn't quite happened as it so far for him, and here he is finding himself in the Ayr Gold Cup. But Andrew Balding, if you'd have said to him at the start of last season, name his top 5 2-year-olds, this horse would have been in it.
Yeah, he's a big old sort. If you watch back in your members section, you got time to do it. They're just right all behind. It's going to take some time to get these horses into the boxes. He looked like he might have Great Ambassador in trouble at one point, and then he got eased off. Great Ambassador had a pretty hard race at York, because the Hamdan horse, whose name escapes me, who was second, came and made sure he was honest. So, look, Ed Walker has said, Mr. Starman, of course, proper Group 1 sprinter, probably one of the best we've got in the country, if not the best, has said this guy will be up there next year. So we've got to respect that, haven't we? And he's drawn in 1.
He's just going to go off that far rails, isn't he? His other runner, Popmaster's interesting, isn't he? That Ascot form, they're let down a bit maybe by Royal Scimitar earlier on. I'm not sure where I stand with Popmaster. You'd imagine Holly's just going to stay more towards the middle of the track, perhaps on board him. They've put the blinkers on first time, haven't they, on Popmaster, which was interesting. Money ran though for Astilio, definitely his price has shortened a lot, isn't it? Gulliver, I've gone off a bit, although he ran well in this race 2 years ago. I think he was 3rd or 4th, wasn't he, Gulliver, in this?
Let's go to Barry with this, because every time that Gulliver's mentioned, Barry, you come into it. He's a horse that will flatter to deceive at some point.
Yeah, he's a very consistent old horse, really. Well, old, he's 7, which is relatively young for some of these sprinters. He ran in Ireland last weekend in that behind Big Gossie in the Curragh, in the Bowl Lad sprint. And he's ran well in it too. But his run behind Great Ambassador, you think in York that the favourite should have the beating on him on that. In Goodwood, in the Goodwood Cup behind Comanche Falls, I think they thought that he might, that was his day. You know, he was just beating the neck. Comanche Falls was away from him. He came up the stand side and a little bit unlucky, I suppose. But there is one of these big races in him. I just don't know whether it's today.
Yeah, okay. So look out for a big run. Maybe might be one in running. I thought Count d'Orsay might be interesting as well. He's in 4. He stormed home last time. He's just not got that 6 furlong form in the bag, has he yet?
Yeah, I thought that he had a good chance if the ground was soft.
Yeah.
Will it be soft enough for him? He is a real mudlark, Count d'Orsay. He loves soft ground. I'm not sure it'll be soft enough for him, Dave.
Certain that this is going to be on the far side, because there is obviously pace.
I have a feeling it's not going to be. I have a feeling that something drawn.
With Just Frank in 18,
going to win.
He's going to take him down the middle, I think, isn't he? Popmaster, for those of you that like.
Just having seen the way that Holly Doyle came up the middle there,
Yeah.
I just wonder if this is going to be stand side here.
And you do think about Ayr Gold Cup winners coming up the middle. That's for sure. Mr. Wagyu, he's in 16 as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fast, isn't he?
He's a very fast.
5,001 drifting. Look, as soon as I've tipped him up, he's drifted, isn't he? He was 22 when I put him up. He's now 28. Can't give away. Yeah, Just Frank. What's happened there?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I had this down to a short list of 6, by the way. Great Ambassador, Just Frank, Popmaster, 5,001. Edruck is a horse that I thought could go well. He's installed 20, but I don't know, he's better than he's seen. He's very easy to back for Mick Appleby and Theodore Ladd. You'll just see him, he's about to go in actually. Looks an absolute picture. Sunday Sovereign for the other King Powers in 23. Finally came good again last time, didn't he? Again.
Yeah.
For Tim Easterby, who took the Silver Cup. All right, good luck wherever you're playing. Thank goodness we've got Enzo here if you're sticking with us for the call. It's going to be pandemonium, I can tell you that much. Comanche Falls, he's got a little bit warm, hasn't he, down at the start?
Above that is going in. Danny Muscat for Stuart Williams. Big price. The biggest price, I think, of all at the moment. 24 of them then without Chief of Chiefs.
Hey Jonesy, not mention him either. Of course, last year's Wokingham winner. Summergand, probably one of the most popular horses we've ever had on RP Live.
Probably the most popular horse.
You think the most popular?
He's featured in a lot of shows this year, Dave. Summergand.
He certainly has. Snazzy, Jazzy, Mr. Lupton, some right old names in here, aren't they? Venturous, of course. Lahore, Chief of Chiefs, the one.
Mr. Wagyu has had a good season, hasn't he, as well? He's in this as well.
Yeah, look out for him early. All right, then. That was an early handover, that was, wasn't it?
Okay, we're almost ready. About 3 to go, down to 2. Difficult to see.
Very sweaty, that one.
Volatile Analyst, who's that named after? Somebody, one of you two, definitely. He's about to go in.
That's for sure.
Keith Dalglish, Callum Rodriguez, and there is another one. That's Gulliver in the dartboard. I love the dartboard colours. He goes in, and the green and pink is going to be easy to spot. Look at the dartboard. Comanche Falls.
Yeah, very much. Pendleton, we haven't mentioned him either, have we?
Here we go. This is it then. 6 furlongs, they're off for the Ayr Gold Cup, a heritage handicap. The favourites over on the far side, Great Ambassador. He's broken steadily, no more than that. One that's showing a bit of speed towards the centre was Snazzy Jazzy, 5,000 to 1, just slightly missed the kick. Brad the Brief broke quite well towards that far side group as well. Hey Jones, he's up there far side early on. Mr. Wagyu is towards that sort of middle group. There's one bag on its own right down the stand side.
Good luck with whoever that is.
Meanwhile, Lahore's towards the far side. It's
It's Bielsa, I don't believe it.
Yeah, he's come right down the
Oh, poor
stand side from
Bielsa.
25. In the middle, though, Mr. Wagyu's up there as we thought he
It's
might
the middle
be.
at the minute,
And Just
guys.
Frank is up there. Just Frank leading Mr. Wagyu early on. Great Ambassador is over on that far side. But the middle cluster, though, maybe just in front with Mr. Wagyu at this early stage.
5,000 to 1 starting to come. Has he left it too late?
Count
comes the
Dorsey's
Fav.
far
The
side
Fav's
as well.
Fav's cruising. Look at Kia. Come on, Graham. What have we got here? I think he's going to
Fav's
take his
travelling.
measure.
Oh, Bielsa's not far away, you know. Down
Far
the
side
centre
now,
line.
guys.
What about Bielsa
It's the
stand
York
side?
form. No, he can't do it. What are you, the commentator, man?
I think Bielsa's in front, you know.
Great Ambassador, he's got it. 5,000 to
Ambassador.
1, not good enough. This is a group pause. Look at Bielsa. Oh,
Bielsa's
my Lord.
right there.
Bielsa's
Great,
in
I think
front.
Bielsa's in front.
he's
Dave.
not.
He is. I think
Not
Bielsa's in front.
Oh, no, he's in front.
Bielsa's
Unbelievable scenes here on RP Live. Barry Hoare. Bielsa. The money came for him
He
late.
was in front. He was in
Kevin Stott, I tell you what, he's got up in he's absolutely like McCoy in the Grand National. Bielsa.
wide apart. How wide apart are they?
Mr. Wagyu,
Mr.
third down the
Wagyu.
middle. Mutagali's
Fourth,
run a massive
Motsagali,
race.
5th, Edgerock. 6th, Count Dorsey. 7th, Comanche Falls. 8th, Summergand. 9th, 5,000 to 1. That's your first 9, which is probably all you need.
Tell me you had a little bit on him, G. Tell me you had a little bit on him.
I didn't.
There was money for him, wasn't there? He went down to 10, I noticed.
There was.
But I thought he was in front, you know, 2 out. I thought he was in front.
That is a wow moment, and I've got to give you that.
thought he was
Because
in front.
it's lucky you're here, because I would have been saying,
just-
he's going to be fourth
I
again.
was looking at the markers.
In fact, if you go back in the run, I say, poor Bielsa. That was the moment, Barry. You should have doubled down.
Yeah, he's unbelievable because I was given out in Goodwood because they elected to race him by himself up the middle. Little did I know that today they were going to just made a beeline right for that rail.
Great ride.
They had their game plan and they stuck to it. And obviously the horse doesn't need to have anything with him to set any fractions. And he's given him a great ride again, Kevin Stott. You know, he's come up trumps for me again in one of these big sprints.
He's the king,
And,
isn't he? He's the
yeah,
king of these
fair play.
races. Stop.
Unbelievable.
Wokingham, Great St Wilfrid,
Great
Ayr Gold Cup, Kevin Stott.
I thought Great Ambassador was in front. I must say, a trade at a low of evens, Great Ambassador as well. Let's see how much.
I
that
thought
traded
Bielsa was in
for.
front 2 out. I thought 2 out, Barry. When
That is a great shout, in
You have a look.
fairness.
I watched the 2 marker far side, and I thought Bielsa was past the 2 before Great Ambassador got to it, just from what I can see. But it was tight.
No, I don't know whether it was just the punter in me thought the one on the far side, Great Ambassador, was in front, and that
No.
was shot clear of the rest of them on that side as well.
Did,
It
I mean,
has to be said.
you'd feel if you back Great Ambassador, you're thinking, well, I've beaten that lot by miles, isn't he? Far side.
Has he gone too soon, G, on the Fav? Or not gone too soon, but has he got a bit lonely, the Fav?
Oh yeah, I think he's unlucky, isn't he? He's won that side by a street,
look at that.
but he's got done by Bielsa.
Waggy ran well, didn't he?
On the near side, what was that stat earlier on, Dave, about high draws and low draws?
Yeah, Kevin Morley's stat.
Yeah, wasn't there one
The
about?
highest and the lowest, they don't fare well. So the rails don't fare well. So the Silver Cup on the far rail.
Rip that one up.
And yeah, what was it? A stall one in the Derby we've had this year, haven't we?
Yeah, so, but no,
Schmatz, people will be saying.
fair play. Interesting to see. Well, hopefully we can get in touch with Adam Ryan and find out whose plan that was, because that was a bit of genius, wasn't it? By either the trainer, jockey, or the team, whoever's put that together and has gone right. We're going to come right up this rail.
You think of the line he's taken from where he's broken, G-Rod, as well. Look, he's not where he's broken from the stall. He's never left that.
Finally got his day in the sun then,
Deserved
Bielsa.
it, didn't he? Deserved it.
He's got the tactics right. What would the headline be? Of course, Bielsa, the manager of Leeds, of course, King Power, we're looking at. Stopped the press. No, and that wouldn't be a good one. What about Bielsa? Bielsa, I don't know, something about tactics or something like that. I don't know. Bielsa on the ball. But listen, on the far side, Count Dorsey's just finished second, I think, of that group there. Comanche Falls got going a little bit too late.
Waggy ran well. Motsagali ran well
season he
fourth
has
as
had.
well.
Yeah, MotagAli, I think, will be the all-weather sprinter of the winter, I think, if they campaign him like that.
Yeah.
Winner He's won 3 lengths, has he?
He has. He's won by a long way in the end.
I mean,
He's got right away at the last 100 yards.
I was saying no,
just want to tell you
can't possibly do it. Well, this time last year, Bielsa had run the race of his life in the Ayr Gold Cup on the wrong side.
Yeah.
We thought he was on the wrong side. I thought he was on the wrong
tipped
side
him last
again.
year.
Were you with Bielsa? Did you listen to Adam Ryan last week when he said basically, you weren't there, Barry, but he said it was Oisin's, sole decision to go down the middle. He was only beaten 6 lengths after he eased him off a bit as well. They weren't dispirited with the run, and seemingly the money came for him, Barry, late.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we flagged that. He was 12.5 when we backed him early doors, and he returned about 10 on the exchange. He's a industry SB of 15-2. Great Ambassador went off at 3-1. Yeah, like you said he would, Dave. You thought he would off the back of that draw, but yeah, it's mad to think that he was drawn 25 and he didn't want to join any of them. He's happy enough to ride his own race and plough his own furrow up that stand side.
I'm just looking at who was in 24, Barry, and thinking it was above, and Daniel Muscat thinking, what was I doing? Well, I should have gone there, but great effort. And
so it seems to me, obviously I've never ridden, when we get one of the jockeys in, we can ask them, but so it seems to me there's always, among jockeys, they just follow each other. A lot of them don't actually make decisions.
It's a Paul Keeley thing.
Whereas Kevin Stott actually there has made his own decision. Right, we're going to do this. We're going to stick to it.
The course as well, isn't he?
It was a great celebration. That Stott, he's a bit of a character, I think, isn't he? And Megan Nichols is his partner. They'll be. She was on Hey Jonesy, of course. So he's a bit of a character, Stotty, and that was a McCoy. And you know what I love? I love to see it when these jockeys do it. So I'm delighted for him. He'll get 15%.
An interesting cricket.
80 grand to the winner.
He burst on the scene, didn't he, many years ago? Then he rode for Godolphin. Do you remember? Going back about 6 or 7 seasons. Didn't quite work out.
I spoke to Adam Ryan about this, and I said this time last year was hot property. He had that injury, if you remember, at the start of the season. He did his metatarsal, didn't he? And he had to go down to Jack Berry House and all that sort of thing and get himself back. And the Ryan Yard do have this northern-southern divide thing. They're certain it happens. And also with the 1 meeting rule, he said when James Doyle turns up now at Thursks and, wherever a Buick isn't or Murphy isn't, and James Doyle does, usually those rides would be going to the likes of Kevin Stott. So they've had to watch, these side bin Sarur rides, etc., and Applebee's and all that sort of stuff go to other jockeys that they use.
It won't happen when there's 6 meetings a day. That won't happen.
Yeah,
there'll be loads of them.
But he's taken out the Greats and Wilf. He's taken out the Ayr Gold Cup. I'll tell you what, we really enjoyed that. We have to move on. Let us know if you were with Bielsa. Did you keep the faith? Were you on Great Ambassador? You've run an absolute stormer.
Can't believe it. Richard Kingscott couldn't believe it. There was a moment when about 100 yards out, I think he had a look across. He was like,
put the stick down, hasn't he?
He's won.
Poor Ed Walker as well. Yeah. A mention for Ed. Chinned on Starman by Kevin Ryan.
Oh, yes.
And of course, he's all there, isn't it? The narrative's there. Kevin, there's Adam. We can see him in the picture now. I'll tell you what, that tie won't be on much longer, Az. Absolutely not. We'll see. He's got his phone in his hand. I'll see if I can say, was that the plan? Of course he's going to say yes, isn't he? But great to see. Adam will be back next month, hopefully, on the show. All right, let's go to Newbury then, because we've got the Mill Reef coming up and a big chance of a Ryan double, I think, Barry. I asked him yesterday, Adam Ryan, whether Kevin Stott was there to ride Hala Hala Athmani or was it Bielsa. He said it could have been Gissa Sub. They think this is just about their best juvenile.
Right, okay. That's interesting because I like another one of their horses in the race, but we'll get to that. The Habs, your favourite at 4.2 at the moment. Gubas 5.3. Maglev is 8. Fearby 11. 9.6 gives a sub, so there is a few quid knocking around for that. My playing it, though, is I fancy the outsider of the field. Another Captain Ryan horse, Neil Callan riding it, is Malayu Kingdom. She's an interesting horse. She won a novice in Thirsk over 5 furlongs on her debut. She was sent off 11-8 favourite. Then she was off for 135 days off the back of that until her reappearance in Ripon last day in that good champion 2-year-old trophy in Ripon. Walked out of the stalls, was nearly tailed off at one stage and flew at the finish to finish 4th. Was completely outpaced and ran on really, really well. And I think she could just run into a place here today. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 25 quid win on her at 46. Happy to be a price taker, G-Rod. And in the 4-place market as well, we're going to have 25 quid on her in the 4 places. She's currently around 5.2 in the 4-place market.
Okay, yeah.
Trade on.
Yeah, I think she'll outrun her odds. I think that severely dismisses her chances here. That 46 about her.
Well, you're not alone there, Barry, because Ron Wood, form book editor at the Racing Post, has put this up as the eye-catcher tip of the day as well. You've seen that on the app, probably. You can get that free, of course, on the Racing Post app. Said Rippon wasn't at all suitable. Was the eye-catcher of the whole day for the analysis team. And they put up, what was the Lavender's Blue that won? Was that a Nassau? Did that win the Nassau?
I won the Goodwood Mile, didn't it?
No, not the
not the mile.
Oh, the Ben Battle race.
The Ben Battle race.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Celebration Mile. Yeah, of course. So they know what they're doing, those guys, to the outside of the lot. But there are other tipsters at the post that fancy Malayu Kingdom as well. Now, Neil Callan and Kevin Ryan, there's an old firm, drawn in stall 1. Let's talk about Gissa Sub then. Second in the Jim Crack G. He really likes this chap. I said that Ed Bethel fancies his. Adam Ryan said, won't get near us, in his gravelly voice. James Doyle on, drawn 3. Did you like this one, or were we sticking with our old friend Fearby?
Well, you always have to stick to the old rule that all trainers all like their own horses at the end of the day. So Ed Bethel likes his, and Kevin Ryan obviously likes his. And I don't think either of them are going to be good enough to win this race anyway, so we don't have to worry about it. I think it's a 2-horse race between Dabab and Gubbas.
The market's got it right then.
Yeah, I think the market's got it right. I mean, Dabab was third behind Native Trowel and Massacala last time out Newmarket.
Yeah.
Now that form ain't too bad, is it? Native Trail looked really good when he won that Group 1. Massacala, Ocean Murphy really likes, thinks he's good.
Yeah.
And he's won since, hasn't he? I think
He's quite literally head and shoulders, isn't he?
So
Native Trail.
yeah, I mean that is very good form, Dabab, isn't it? But Gubbas, of course, got the course form because he won that super sprint second time out. It's not an easy thing to do that. We just spoke about Holla Afmani coming unstuck with second time in a big field and not really knowing enough to be able to go and do the business. Well, Gubbas did know enough on his second start to win the super sprint, which is not an easy thing to do. And he brings Group 1 form in, doesn't he? He finished 5th in the pre-morning last time. So
Was a bit unlucky in that as well, I thought.
Yeah.
Didn't get the gaps, ran on a bit. I thought it was a good run in France.
Yeah, the course form, I think, is interesting. He looked like a 6 furlong horse very much in the super sprint as well, doesn't he? He's changed ownership, so he's drawn in 6s, which is going to help him. Dabab, I'm not. Listen, I'm perfectly. I mean, actually, the handicapper thinks that Gubbers should be favourite, and he's £5 superior to him. But in that Native Trail run on the July course last time, he did look like he had him cooked, didn't he? And I can see why they're coming back in trip.
I mean,
I
my
wouldn't be the
initial-
biggest fan of horses coming back as a 2-year-old. I think that the Gosens of all people, they probably thought he was a 7 furlong miler.
my
didn't have the
initial
pace
view
in
on
the
it
Coventry.
was that Dabab was the most likely winner, but he was too short. But if you look at the market now on Betfair,
3 to 1,
there's
isn't
not much between them, is there? There's
He
only
has been a
12 between
drifter,
them.
Dabab, Barry, hasn't he?
Yeah, just a little. Currently trading at 4.1. Yeah, and Gobas 5.382 Maglev. So yeah, he is a drifter. It's fair to say. I think he was 15 to 8 or 2 to 1 when we first went up with this race on the sports book. So he's a 3 to 1 chance now.
All right, okay. I'm sticking with Fearby. I backed him in the Jim Crack last time. Mossgill ran an absolute blinder, didn't he? In the 2:15 for Ed Bethel. This is the big one. I spoke to Ed at the start of the week about coming and doing some work with us here at the Racing Post, and it's fair to say that it didn't go to plan for them in the Jim Crack. It was first run over 6. You watch that back, loads of time to do that. He covers loads of ground. PJ McDonald ridden over half of Ed's winners, top jockey, but he just wasn't quite sure where to go that day. He's coming back after hitting a flat spot. If you go back to the Goodwood run, he looked all over like he wanted 6 furlongs. He's drawn in 10, no problems, a bit of pace around him as well. I think I'm surprised he's not a bit shorter, I must say that. And Gissa Sub, again, I've had to have a little bit on him on the back of what the Ryans are saying. They're that confident about this chap.
He got beat by Gubbas, though, didn't he, in Richmond? Gissa Sub. He was well behind him.
That was the day they thought he just wasn't on his A game. They said something wasn't quite up. What they saw in the Jim Crack was what they expected. They weren't sure they'd have beaten LaSalle that day, but again they thought not the finished article is basically what we should say about Gissa Sub.
I've gone with G-Rod. I think Gubbas is the one. I saw him win first time out. Looked really professional that day when he went in first time. Then he won again, obviously, that super sprint, which was a massive effort. I mean, he had horses like Chipotle behind him that day. Then the third place at Goodwood, I thought he ran quite well over 6. And the run of the pre-morning I thought was excellent last time out when 5th. He was right on the heels of the leaders that day. I think he's got the best form in this. He's the only one for me who's got proper Group 1 form on the card. I'm all over Gubbas here. Sean Levy, Richard Hannon. I think he'll win.
All right, Gubbas it is. Trust in Hannon. Memas, of course, the sire. So successful for the Hannon yard as well. Lively betting eat this. A few of them been put up. Enzo going for Gubbas. Who are these owners? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the quite interesting colours.
Colours, aren't they? Yeah.
It's obviously
Is that a
UAE
Q on
owned,
it,
aren't
is
they?
it?
It looks like a Q.
It's like a maroon Q indeed.
It's quite funny because I used to work on the desk that created the colours at Racing Post years and years ago. And, you know, you used to get some right funky ones and you could really have to get creative.
Jessica Harrington, who's the horse? Discordantly, isn't it? Who's those crazy patchwork quilts?
Yeah,
They
the
used to
crazy
They
quilts.
used to break the machine, didn't it, basically?
Yeah.
And the owners group at the moment, it was almost forgotten about that, haven't we? The owners group, because they've had some, the Lear second in the Grand National, and so much was said about that, wasn't it?
Yeah, the owners.
Create Belief, of course, who Johnny Murtaugh still thinks is going to get that Group 1.
I wonder if we might see a few more of their runners over jumps in the coming weeks. Not that long now, is it, till the jump season gets kicking on?
After this race, we've got 15 minutes basically pretty much until the next race. Yeah, the jump season, there's more than a whiff of it about, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm starting to...
I'm helping you out, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're helping me out with a bit of...
Terrifying, but we're doing a jump...
analysis.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we're going to get stuck into them, aren't we? And remind people about...
Well, this is the thing about the jumpers, isn't it? Is everyone loves them, but you spend so much time watching flat horses that they kind of go out of your mind a little bit, and you just need a little bit of refreshing. You're like, like the other day, Happy Go Lucky was ruled out, and I was like, what, Happy Go Lucky? Yeah, I know the name, but I can't remember. And then you go back.
Has he been ruled out? Has he? I didn't see that. I see
He's
again.
out for the season, isn't he?
It's a shame, isn't it? Kim Bailey's horse looked like he could step up, didn't he? So good at Aintree.
But people love the jumpers, don't they?
Of course.
I mean, we're coming in towards that end of season feel with a flat now, and people love jumping.
Has there ever been an appetite for a jump season like the one we've got coming up, of potentially a full crowd back on King George Day, Leopardstown's Christmas meeting?
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. And Cheltenham, of course.
Cheltenham would be great, wouldn't it?
Dublin Festival. Can England and Ireland, can we settle it up? It's almost all there, isn't it? One horse to follow, one jumper you're really looking forward to.
My Drogo.
Yes, what a shout, My Drogo. But it will really be one of these skeletons that when they go over the fence, they can. Do they hold their form? I don't know. My Drogo looks super, doesn't he? Ends a jumper to fire.
Oh no, I can't even think about it until the Breeders' Cup and Melbourne Cup are finished. I can't even focus on it, so I can't even think.
What wins the
about
Melbourne Cup then?
Jump. I can't think jump racing until November the 8th.
We are talking about, of course, at the start of the season, the best horse on the planet. We're going to get some socials about this. You've got a chance. If you didn't see that, we got the two biggest Mishriff fans in the world sitting on this panel. They totally disagree about what races they should be running in next, by the way, which is absolutely fascinating. Is he the best horse in the world? Is it St Mark's Basilica? We'll get some socials in after this race. Debab then, Barry. Gubbus. Again, not much movement, is there, Barry, to my eye?
Yeah, just the Bab was into 11-4 there, 375, 5-6 Gubas, Meglev 8-2, 9-8 Fearby gives a sub out to 11. Wings of War, some money for that at 10-5. Manican, a few quid for that with William Buick in the plate at 11.5.
All right, okay, thank you, Barry. Okay, just a reminder then that we are here with you every Saturday, basically, in 2021. If it's on, we will be with you, very much so, and hopefully beyond that as well. So much to come, the jump season, but next week, the Cambridgeshire. John Gosden got a clear favourite for that, hasn't he? Could there be an absolute flyer? Barry thinks there's maybe the second string of that. Al Rufar might be the one as well. I'll tell you what, the more I looked at that Sandown run last time, I think he might be on one. But it's the Mill Reef, it's over to Tony Ennis. Let's see which way it goes. Good luck.
Here we go then. 2-year-olds have their chance to shine in this Group 2 Dubai Duty Free Mill Reef Stakes, the straight 6 furlongs. And the runners are almost ready. We're just waiting for Fearby to go in. Fearby is now in. And there's one more still to go forward. Wings of War. Adam Kirby goes in. And now we're just about set. I think
one's playing up.
one's playing up quite badly. Not sure which one that is. But here we go for the mill. Oh, it's
Gissa Sub.
It's Gissa Sub. Who's trying to get out? Oh, he's trying to get over the top of the stall. Gissa Sub. He's trying to get out. Oh, he's in. Yeah, we could have a scratch here, couldn't we?
Yeah, he has to be withdrawn.
So Gissa Sub has almost clambered towards the top of the stall's infrastructure. James Doyle, the other one out the back still is Maglev, who I think has come out. Or he's either come. Yeah, I think they're taking them out. Are they taking Maglev out? They've taken Gissa Sub out. What are we going to do here? Are we going to take the others out? Well, they're just going to they're going to have a look at Gissa Sub, are they? I think he's going to have to be withdrawn, isn't he?
Yeah, withdrawn.
They probably have to check.
WD.
Absolutely gutted about that, aren't they? They've just won the big one. This was the one that they were really looking for.
Maglev's in. Right, we're ready then. 9 of them now. They're off. They've gone without Gissa Sub. Had to be withdrawn for the Dubai Duty-Free Mill Reef Stakes. Maglev steady, leaving the stalls. Also, Gubbus a little bit slowly away. Breaking well towards the far side is Malayu Kingdom. Leads early on to Manikan, who's up there as well with a big white face. Hierarchy's not far away. Fearby showing speed. Just off them is Wings of War in dark blue. Then comes Dabab. Towards the stand side is Kunan. Gubbus held up by Levy. And right towards the back is Maglev and Markand as they race towards halfway. Setting a good pace up front. Hierarchy from Malayu Kingdom for Barry towards the far side, right up there for Neil Callan. Fearby just nudged along to stay with those front two.
That catches the eye, doesn't it?
Yeah, Dabab going well, light blue, I think, and also going still quite well to his Wings of War in the middle. And Gubbus has yet to be asked for his effort. Down to the 2 they go. Hierarchy's in front still to Fearby. Now Dabab, what's he found? Nothing is the answer. Gubbus is too far behind as well. Yeah. It's still Hierarchy in front. It's Ashin. It's Hierarchy. In second place, Wings of War.
Fearby's running a blinder, isn't he?
Fearby in behind them, and then behind those we have Kunan, but it's still Hierarchy. He's dominated here for Hugo Palmer. Wings of War will try and run him down though towards the far side, and he's going to do it. Wings of War has got him. Wings of War to Hierarchy in second. Adam Kirby, Clive Cox. Hierarchy coming back, but Wings of War wins. So Hierarchy, and in behind them, was that Fearby staying on in behind?
We saw a couple of weeks on the show in the Serenia Stakes at Kempton. Eve Lodge, the winner that day for Charlie Fellows, who won the big handicap, of course, the 325 at Newbury. Wings of War beat Hierarchy. That form has just been reproduced on turf. Fearby, really honest run. When he gets some more cover this horse, we'll see the best of him in third. And Dabab, is he stuck between 6 and 7 furlongs? He was coming back at the end. That was the Mill Reef. Barry Orr, when did they know the old rival was going to get back on top?
Hierarchy was 4s on, a low of 4s on the Betfair Exchange. 1.25 for 1,200 quid, 1,200 quid traded at that price. For your winner then, the winner... that was Hierarchy, yeah. Your winner. There was nothing really, Dave. It never really hit a massive price. It was the only one that was chasing down Hierarchy at that stage. So just in the shadows of the post, really, it traded at low.
Oh, Hugo Palmer will be head in hands now, when he because that looked all over them. They were a lot more aggressive with him today, weren't they, than they were at Kempton.
It looked like he done it. I thought a furlong out, I thought he had them all in trouble, didn't he, Ashin? When he had that little kick, he took a length out of them. But then Wings of War, you could see, was always going well in midfield. Adam
He was favourite to win the Sardinia Stakes, wasn't he? That's a boost for Eve Lodge, first and foremost. But he covered a bit of ground that day, didn't he? He switched left a little bit, didn't look totally happy by his first run on the all-weather, and still very green in the final stage, was lugging a little bit. That put me off him today. I'm not going to lie about that. But
it's a bit muddling, though, isn't it, the juvenile form, though? I mean, for me, it's a good win, but there's no superstar out of that race.
Mill Reef and Clive Cox, who does that remind you of?
One of his good sprinters.
Arguably his best sprinter.
Harry Angel.
Yes, of course. Won this as a maiden.
Yeah, probably was
2016.
Was his best sprinter, wasn't it? This horse came out of that race at York that was won by Ever Given. And I think that's quite good form, isn't it? Ever Given did that.
Sales form, isn't it?
That won the Doncaster sale.
He was very green that day as well. Hung left all over the place, didn't he?
The runner-up that day went on to finish third in the Red Car 2-year-old trophy. And of course, that's now gone and won the Mill Reef. So for a sales race, that's pretty hot form, isn't it?
Middle Park?
Yeah, you'd probably be looking that way, wouldn't you now? There's not much else he could go for, is it? He has to go to Group 1 now, you would say.
Hector Crouch on him last time, Adam Kirby back on him this time today. They got the hair to aim at, and he's produced a horse going the right way. Wings of War, well done.
There were some disappointments there, weren't there?
Well, when the Gubbus didn't pick up at all, did he?
Didn't even hardly see Gubbus.
Dabab ran on a little bit at the end, ran a strange race.
Shame Gissa Sub didn't go in as well, wasn't it? That would have given us a handle on him as well. Hierarchy, Oshin Murphy then kicked not to be then. All right, the penultimate race here on RP Live this Saturday. Let's hope you're having a great time out there. Let us know. We've got some time until the last race is today. It's 4:15. We're usually off air by now. A real treat for you. It's a really tricky handicap, but I like one very much in here. The 4:15 then. Shall we get the market up on the screen? There it is. Dance Fever to give Clive Cox a quick double. Will he pull it off, Barry Orr?
Yeah, I thought this was the hardest race of the day, and that's taking the Ayr Gold Cup into account as well. Hong Kong Harry's your favourite at 5, 5-6 Dance Fever, Cruyff turns 6-6, 10-5 Chalet, Chalier 11-5, 11 Jump the Gun, 13.5 Mary's Diamond. The one I've tentatively come down on, and it's a very tentative pick, I'm just going to have like 25 quid win and place on it, please G-Rod, is Chalet. Won a course in One in Ripon over a mile, went off and made all, was 7-2 favourite off 77. Tried to do the same next time, but never really got a soft lead up front off 82, in off 81 here. And I just thought that could potentially run into a place. But like I said, very tentative pick, not a race that I'd be generally having a bet in. So just win and place really here.
Okay.
Win and place, the trade on, Chalet. And something tells me, I seem to remember this chap running at the meeting before, David O'Mara, of course, and Jason Watson. I'm just looking, he has got quite a few near misses, isn't he? Last 2 runs at Ayr, of course, nutted, so he loves the place, basically. Jason Watson on from stall 5. Right, I'll gamble in this race. Hong Kong Harry.
Favourite now.
Yeah, I was surprised that he was as big as he was yesterday. I put him up as one of my better bets of the day. When he won at the course on his second start, I thought this is definitely a horse that could be good running in Balmorals and stuff like that. He had to have a mid-season break, whether by design or not, I'm not sure, for Richard Fahey. And he came back. I thought he ran well at the Racing League meeting.
Yeah.
You'd have obviously seen that.
Saw him that day, yeah, the Bill Hilly race. One of Bill Hilly's victories. What star he was during that particular series.
Star? Yes, a star.
He was.
He was a star.
Hong Kong Harry ran well though that day, didn't he? For Team eToro, wasn't it? For Richard Fahey.
Added experience, coming back around this bend. He's drawn in 2. It all looks right. I'm not crazy about the price now, but I thought Cruyff Turn, as solid as he is, was handicapped about right. I'm not sure about Dance Fever on this track. Thought when he ran at Doncaster last time, he lugged all over the place. Chalet, I'm not sure. I'd be quite confident this is going to go close. GU?
I like Revich at a good price. Yeah.
Away from Chester, Revich at last.
Yeah, away from Chester. He runs every time at Chester.
Yeah.
Now, he runs Chester all right.
He's the rag.
Yeah, I can't believe he's that big. I thought he would be around about 10, 12 to 1, but I think he's a much bigger price on Betfair, isn't he?
I thought he would have run. I thought he would have
20
won
odds,
at Chester by now this season. I think it was the
He's
main
always,
meeting.
he's always got a great draw at Chester. He always seems to have a stall 1, and he's never able to take advantage of it.
Very well handicapped on his best form.
Well handicapped on his best form. Ran all right at Chester 2 runs ago, so they sent him off favourite to go and actually win a race at Chester last time, and he just... Well, last week, remember Adam Ryan said about Throne Hall, missed the break, ended up dropping in, couldn't get competitive. Well, this was Revich last, missed the break, in rear, Chester, race over. That was exactly what happened. So I think you completely forgive that run. Yet this time, he was the favourite last week. This time, he's 20 odd to 1. So I'm happy to have a little poke on Revich. Be good to see Cruyff Turn go well, wouldn't it, for Andrew Gemmell, of course. Paisley Park fame. So he won, I think, was it
York.
last time? Yeah, York, yeah.
Yeah, he looked beaten, kept finding.
right,
Definite pace angle in here.
Yeah.
And again, we gave him a race post rating that day of 104. What's he up to today? 98. So he's going to need to put himself nearly listed class here with that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Have we got any socials out there? That would be good, wouldn't it? Who's the best horse in the world? We're pretty sure that the guys next to me believe it's Mishrif, believe it or not. I still think.
Who do you think is?
Do you think
yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to tell you. I think. Do we think there was
Don't say Snowfall.
Okay.
Bubble burst there last week, wasn't it?
You were basically right about that last week.
Thank you.
I did think
That hurt you, didn't it? I could see you.
Didn't
just sort of
hurt me. It didn't hurt me. Graeme last week said that Snowfall wasn't very good, and he got a lot of pelters for that.
Yeah.
But she given too much to do? Frankie almost put Holly under the bus a little bit.
He did. He threw her right under it.
Didn't go fast enough on the pacemaker.
Looked a bit lacklustre, looked a bit flat, didn't she? Didn't pick up when he asked her though. I think it was excuses.
It was a flat run. There's no doubt that isn't her best.
Can Hurricane Lane win the Arc? I wonder.
I don't know. St Ledger winners, do they win Arcs? No.
This is an absolute monster.
I know, but they don't win Arcs.
This is all but ripped up.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Do you think that Adiyar's better or Hurricane? You think Hurricane, don't you?
I do think Hurricane, yeah.
I thought Hurricane, but now I think Adiyar.
I'm a bit worried about where he is, and I think he might be a horse that needs a prep potentially.
It's interesting. There's a lot of money.
I don't like Tanawa for it.
She's favourite, isn't she?
That's why. I think she'll run a great race, but I am worried about one of the 3-year-olds.
Are you worried that not all is right with Adiyar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because obviously he missed the last race.
Yes.
Something went wrong there.
Everyone's talking about St Mark's Basilica maybe not being seen again, and despite the fact he only ran last week. Where's Adiyar?
Yeah.
What about the horse that beat Snowfall, Tiona? Where do you rate her?
Yeah, she's coming good, isn't she? Saw her at Windsor when she came good. If you go
good.
back to the Musadora, she was favourite to nearly beat her, wasn't she? Let's get some socials in for the next race. I think we've got some tips coming up. You're all out there, aren't you? You've had a great afternoon. Let's hope we put you into way some winners. And Ponty Terrier says, hopefully Shaleer will get the win. She came close at Ponty. Barry Orr's pick. You'll be happy with that. Who else have we got? Ponty Terrier, great to have you on. And Mally Draycott says, fancy Dance Fever in this. A mile should be ideal. Oh, he might be right, Matty. He's a very, very consistent horse, isn't he? There's something about him in the business end I'm not sure about. Toon 2020 HWTL, Fame and Acclaim.
Away the lads.
Away the lads.
20, away the lads.
Disarray up there, isn't it? For Les Ayr, Fame and Acclaim. Is this a horse that Les has inherited? Yes, it was. It was Joseph O'Brien's horse, wasn't it? Got a lot of ground to make up on Cruyff Turn, but did we see the best of him that day? Forgive a York Run. Stall 10, Lewis Edmonds. Lewis Edmonds had a good racing league, didn't he?
Lewis Edmonds?
Was it Lewis Edmonds?
No.
Who was it?
Louis Stewart.
Louis Stewart. Close. Close. See,
You're paying a lot of
I paid
attention.
attention. Was he a good
Stewart did very
commentator?
well.
I wouldn't really know. I had to listen. But look, I actually did quite enjoy bits of it, I have to say.
You liar.
No, I did. I've backed
on,
a
Dave.
couple of winners. And,
Did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Had a couple of big
I don't believe that for a second.
I did. I enjoyed a
You
bit of it. I
don't
thought
like
the camera
racing.
angles were
You
terrible.
don't like Racing League.
I don't really like racing league. No.
There you go.
I don't really like the racing league.
Why were you against it? Team?
Look, we've spoken a lot about this. You didn't. You thought the criticism was harsh, didn't you?
I did. I think people were making out the Sunday series was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and Racing League was terrible. I thought it was a bit unfair, to be honest.
But it's a first go. You give everyone their first go, don't you?
Yeah, there are things I would change. I think the things that I was disappointed about was that at the start we were advertising Holly Doyle, and she didn't turn up for any of them, which was a bit disappointing.
It wasn't just Holly.
Sheen, Jim Crowley as well. So that was a bit disappointing. I know that their agents and their teams say they were busy, which I understand. It was busy. I mean, we had 1 week was during Goodwin, 1 week was during York. So obviously they were out of those. So timings. But I think if you should have tried to nail those jockeys down to 1 week. At least Frankie came to Doncaster, didn't he? He turned up at Doncaster. He had 2 or 3 rides. Everyone was happy.
Needed a bit of Frankenstein.
Yeah, it needed a bit of stardust, didn't it? I think.
Yeah, Safi Osborne though rose to do.
She did
very good.
Safi Osborne. Paddy Mathers had a really good run as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
very good run.
The trainers were noticeable by their absence as well, which I thought was a bit disappointing. I don't remember seeing too many big name trainers there either.
Well, John Fady
had a run.
He had runners. I think Newmarket Red not filling their teams, not having 12 runner races was a problem. My biggest issue.
Charlie Fellows loved it, didn't he? Of course,
Yeah.
Bill Hilly, as you mentioned.
I think you've got to have 12 runner races, haven't you? We had 8s and 9s towards the end of the series, which didn't look good. I think. I think we need to have
Horses
12.
out of the handicap in big
You had
money races.
Yeah, the prize money was excellent.
I wondered if you were trying to make personalities out of people that necessarily don't have them.
Maybe, but I mean, if you're running for, look at what we're running for prize money. I mean, races at Royal Ascot weren't worth the same as some of the races for Racing League.
Yeah.
So I mean, the prize money was that's, as you say, the biggest moan in racing. I hear, oh, prize money's not enough. Why are we running for $3 grand?
Got to try different things, and that's absolutely right. I think it is easy.
I'm not against those sort of things. I think it's a great thing, but I do think that everyone needs to work together. And that is part of the problem. I think you've got certain factions, and if we all pull together and all work together and promote it together.
Starting during Goodwood Week is not good for us.
Yeah, that wasn't the best timing. But then
Because we can't give it the pages we want to.
They'll have a sit down and it'll be better next year. Hopefully.
It will, absolutely. And the commentaries were great, as Barry told you at the top of the show. Yeah, that's for sure.
Right, this horse is played up a bit, isn't he, old? Talking of Racing League, Hong Kong Harry.
Yeah. Do you think he was bought with a sale in mind?
I tell you what, one horse. Yeah.
What should we call him if we wanted to get some big dollars out of him?
Yes.
I back Chalet here, not Chalier.
Chalier, you
Chalet.
Oh,
number 11.
Oh, Chalet.
Oh, he's had an absolute shocker.
What?
Oh no, it's been
Charlie
going
Brown.
so well.
Oh,
Okay, they're
Charlie
off and running. We've got to let it run. But you know what's happened here? Ross Briley famously last year did one, and he was like, "Oh, back the wrong horse, he won."
Marie's Diamonds
It's probably
in front.
all for luck. It's probably all for
We'll see
luck,
what
G-Rod.
happens. Right, Marie's Diamonds in front from Garden Oasis.
Chalet
Chalet's
is
pulling.
far too keen,
Oh, he's
Barry.
too
He's done
keen,
you
Chalet.
a turn there.
In third place.
Gets to the front.
Chalet pulling a bit in third place. Garden Oasis is in second place. Who's that in fourth? Revich, that is in
Revich.
fourth, isn't it? He's a bit keen as well in behind them as they race for the first couple of furlongs in this handicap over the mile. Looking further back to Chalier, who's next in the field on the inside. Fame and Acclaim is racing next. Then comes Hong Kong Harry. Jump the Gun was one that I missed out. Cruyff Turn is being held up at the moment in the colours of Paisley Park on the inside. He's towards the back of the field. Dance Fever as well is stone last at this stage. They make the turn towards home then. As they do so, they're being led towards the inside on the outside by Marie's Diamond. Inside Garden Oasis. Revic into third.
I'm going to need
Chalet
some luck on the
fourth.
inside with Harry.
Then Chalier, then Hong Kong Harry, then Jump the Gun, who's next in the field from Fame and Acclaim. Cruyff Turn.
Cruising
Dance
the
Fever
fav.
is at the back of the field. They race towards the final 2.5 furlongs. Now up front in the centre, Marie's Diamond. On
Here
the
comes
outside,
Fame and Acclaim.
Chalet is there. Fame and Acclaim is running on. Garden Oasis under pressure.
Come on, Revic, get through that gap.
Revic is trying to run on. Nowhere to go for Cruyff Turn.
Favs would have, I'll tell you
Dance
what, he's
Fever's
got no
widest
run.
of all. It's still Marie's Diamond in front.
Cruyff Turn.
Revic is
Revic.
running
Messy
on.
race.
Come on,
Hong
Revic.
Kong Harry's
Dance
coming
Fever
out.
on the outside. Revic for
Come on,
G.
Revic.
Could it possibly be?
Hong Kong
Here
Harry's
comes the
running on.
Harry.
Come on,
Running
Revic.
it down. It's going to be Revic.
Revic is gonna win it.
Unbelievable
Revic.
scenes.
Revic
They finally
has
got
his
one.
day. Hong Kong Harry's second, third.
Wow.
Marie's Diamond. Wowzers.
Well done, G. You've waited a long time this afternoon. You've been on one of those moderate runs. You put up the rag in the last, and it goes and does it for you.
goes.
And he
Fantastic.
showed something that he's not showed all season, resolution.
Oh, yeah, he stayed on really well. I thought when he angled him out, I thought, is he going to come and do it? Is he going to come and do it? And he did.
Yeah.
Away
That was a
from
messy
Chester.
race to watch, that, wasn't it? So many hard luck runs. I think Hong Kong Harry, if he'd have got to run up
he
the
couldn't get out,
inside.
could he?
But that's the name of the game. Barry, when did they know Revic was going to take out the finale?
Well, you won't be pleased to hear this, Dave. Hong Kong Harry hit a low 1.15, so 6-1 on for
Whoa.
400 quid. Can you believe that? Unlucky. Cruyff Turn never got a run, didn't trade any higher than 5.0 in running. And your winner had a Betfair SP of 24.
For Richard Spencer. Was it
Messy
Angus
race,
Villiers on?
wasn't
Angus Villiers.
Well done to
yeah.
Angus. I mean, Cruyff Turn didn't get a run, did he, either? You were right about Dance Fever. He was a bit disappointing. Fame and Acclaim got shut out as well. There was a few of them didn't get a run.
Cruyff Turn, they reverted to patient tactics. Watching him back, he's absolutely burnt
At the
on.
end, yeah.
He's
run
not
on.
done with yet at all, is he? Yeah, Fame and Acclaim is an eye catcher there. Messy race, but horses to be taken out of it. What an afternoon we've had here on RP Live. We've all had a shout. Have we all had a shout?
Yeah.
Ooh.
No. No shouts today.
We've got a naught from. Okay, there you go. He came in strutting his stuff into the office. Not the day you were hoping for, punting wise, but it's been great. Awesome calls, because honestly, you called the Bielsa. That's probably one of the moments of the season there for
Yeah,
us.
I did think Bielsa was in front, and he was. But yeah, commentaries went all right. Selections no good. Must do better. But tough day, though, isn't it? Ayr Gold Cup day, always really hard. Newbury was tough as well today, I thought.
All right, yeah, absolutely. He called Bielsa on the near side. Barry, you were absolute pandemonium. You put him up, finally got your big day in the sun, and you had some other winners as well. Solid afternoon.
Yeah, it's been a solid day. Really enjoyed it as well. Great calls from Enzo, and I'm sure you were glad to see him in the studio looking at some of the field sizes in the Silver Cup and the Ayr Gold Cup. And G-Rod just looking pretty there and gets the winner at the end with his great haircut. G-Rod, you're going to have to show me where that barber is next time I'm over in the UK. Maybe we can do something with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when's that going to be, Barry? Of course, now the world opening up. I'm sure it was great at Champions Weekend. We had you over for ADOT the time before that.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm next over, but it could be around Betfair Chase time, or I'll be definitely over for the meeting before that in Cheltenham. Or I might be, but I'll definitely be over for the Betfair Chase in November.
Yeah, I can tell you we're doing all three days of the open meeting in November for you as well. Jumpers then. We've still got plenty of the flat season to go. It's Cesarewicz time. You said to me the cogs will be working. You're now going out on an absolute high. Find us not the Cesarewicz, that's 2 weeks later. Find us the Cambridgeshire winner.
Yeah, I still haven't looked at that yet, but yeah, I'm more than happy with that last winner.
Great afternoon, good trading, loving life.
Yeah, I'm loving life now. Yeah, after Holla and got beat, I thought we were on the floor there, Dave. But yeah,
so
loving it
close.
now.
All right, great stuff. Thanks to Tony Ennis as well. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks to the guys in the gallery. This has been RP Live. Join us next weekend. It's Cambridgeshire time.